And just like that, we are back. Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, welcome back to another episode. Another hot and steamy, super hot, molten magma episode of Good Morning Azeroth, episode 39. You love to see it. Got some scuffage on the stream. Do we? Actually looking pretty stable right now, guys.
I can't see Jerome on the stream.
Where am I?
Oh, I got
No
it.
webcam.
Yeah, there is. There it is.
It's Melron. It's Spirit.
We had to have the scuffage. It always has to happen. There's got to be something.
I'm trapped. Get me out.
Oh my God.
There's got to be something. Always something, right? Okay. Well,
Always something, dude.
always something. Def Camp, my man, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
Dunedin,
Good
my
to see
man.
you.
Everybody just pretend this didn't happen, right? I'm fixing it
I'm
right
good.
now. Wait, it's a high production value stream, dude.
Oh, what's
nice.
this?
Oh.
High production value stream here, by the way. I'm a big boy streamer. I'm a content creator. All right, guys, everybody doing good? Everybody good?
Oh, we're doing damn good.
Very good. Very, very solid start to the stream, guys. As you can tell, over here at Cargo's Entertainment, we do a really fantastic job over here. Jerome, how the hell are you, dude? You might recognize this man, this legend. I swear to God, I'm not lying. This is the most high energy man I've ever met in my entire life. I gotta take notes. I guess that's what he does. He's got the
I'm
coffee
so
in
happy to
hand.
be here. Thank you for inviting me. We're gonna have a damn fine time.
A damn fine time, guys. Well, welcome back. A million thank yous for being here, spending your time with us today. I want to introduce you guys to NoHitJerome. Okay, NoHitJerome. I've known him for a little bit now. Like we still haven't really chilled a lot. But like every time I watch a stream, dude, I always find myself cheesing. I'm always cracking up what he's doing. He's a big boy Twitch streamer at this point, way bigger than me on Twitch, man. He's got 400 or 500 people watching him. One of the most high energy people I ever saw in my life. We're so happy to hear you, Jerome. Could you please introduce yourselves to the Cargo's gaming community and Def Camp Dunedin communities, all watching us right now? Maybe explain just what you do, history with the game a little bit would be much appreciated.
Yeah, so I started back in 2006 with TBC, and I ended up getting to level 56. So that's my full involvement with the old WoW. And then when Classic WoW came out, I just wanted to start. So I made a hunter, obviously, and what happened was I realized that no one wanted me in their groups ever. Like first of all, I was terrible at hunter. I had a macro that cast Hunter's Mark every single time that I shot. So I was just reapplying Hunter's Mark over and over and over again to the same target. And nobody told me until I was in MC and I was doing it to MC mobs. I was constantly casting Hunter's Mark on them. And so that was my full original actual classic experience, right? And then I was like, wait, what am I doing? Why am I waiting around for groups when I could just be the entire group myself? And so that's when I started multiboxing, and I'm having so much fun with it. It's been ridiculously fun. So yeah, I've been streaming that a lot and having a really great time.
So you did play Classic back in the day as a hunter?
No, just TBC.
Oh, TBC,
so
my bad.
I came in right on TBC, yeah.
Came right in TBC.
Yeah, and I think it was Zolaman is right when I got in. I was like, damn, I got to do this raid. I got to do this raid.
That was a good time, yeah.
Yeah, that was a hot time.
Get your ZA bear.
Well, I'm just really, really happy you're here with us, man, dude. Like, we really
Hell
appreciate
yeah.
you, man. So it's gonna be a good episode, guys. Kind of a spicy title, as you can see. Is the Warcraft universe too far gone? We're not gonna try to be super doomers on it.
No.
I want to talk about this. It's out of love. I just want to reiterate, it's out of love that we're talking about this because we've invested so much into it as content creators throughout our life, all this, right? But before we get into all that, Def Camp, Dunedin, I'm blabbering on. How was your week? How was your life? How's things going with you guys?
Doing good.
Go first, Def Camp.
Okay, I'm just doing good. Wait, just a member of the Danny tribe? Wow. I'm doing good. I can't complain. I'm good. That's it.
Wow. I had something special happen to me this week in WoW, actually, which I want to talk about. So, I don't know if you know the streamer called Goblin, or not a streamer, it's a YouTube creator.
YouTuber, man. Yeah, I know Goblin.
Yeah. So I think it was like a month ago that I saw a video of him, and there was an alt character, like a priest, low-level priest, and I recognized his name, and then under his name it was tagged the Fellowship. So that was kind of interesting. So I checked out in the guild list, and I found him with his help. Then a few days ago, he applied on the Fellowship on the Discord, and we didn't invite him yet. But anyway, the thing is, in his application, there was something which was really interesting, and it was that he had me in his real ID friends from back in the day, and apparently I had attack in his real ID RPG leader. So what's really nice is I didn't know that guy anymore, and I have him in my real ID. So we played RPGs together in Cataclysm, and now he applies to the guild, and I thought that was really interesting.
That's
honestly.
fucking awesome,
So
dude.
you used to do RPGs with Metagoblin?
Yeah, in Cataclysm
crazy.
we
Small world.
played RPGs together.
Small world. Well,
So-
Small
Devcamp.
world.
People have been asking about you, man. I was hoping you were going to talk about it. People have been asking for big Devcamp. Where's Devcamp at?
Wah.
Where's Melderon at? We,
Wah.
you know, the stream. It's been how long has it been since the last official Devcamp?
Oh,
stream?
don't
It's
tell
been
me.
a hot minute,
No.
dude.
I'm not gonna. Instead of that, let's have our weekly tradition. Let's do
You're
that
feeling a
first.
little more motivated though, right? I was trying to go to a positive note on it because you're feeling good about
listen
things.
to this. So listen to this. So we decided the next episode of GMA, I'm gonna be streaming that. I'm sorry, not GMA. Fuck. Super Plate Brothers.
Mhm.
Super Plate Brothers. I'll be streaming that, and then Melderon will put it up from his perspective afterwards. So we'll do that, and then I will also be streaming again. So, I'm not gonna. I'm trying not to make excuses and all, right? But work's been fucking crazy. My life's been a little crazy, topsy-turvy. But things are starting to get back to normal, and I'm starting to want to do this. But we forgot something. We forgot to do our
the tradition.
yeah,
And
yeah,
tell them about the historic moment that is today. That is this episode.
Oh, okay.
please.
So it's not this episode, but around this time, a little bit. So it was like late December or so, right? It's been over a year now, guys. Over a year since the first episode of GMA. So with that being said, we're gonna have a loud and thunderous, right, Cargos?
Yes,
what you always
please,
say,
dude.
loud and
Right,
thunderous,
what
yes.
kind of buff
Just
are we
like
getting
that.
today, dude? What kind of blessing?
We'll just give it all. We'll give divine spirit, blessing. We'll give divine spirit and we'll give fortitude. Okay, how about that? We'll give
Okay,
it
that
both.
sounds good.
Yeah. All right,
Sounds
you guys
good.
ready?
Prepare. Ear warning.
Put my mic out.
Jerome,
my
if you
mic.
haven't seen this before, man, you might actually lose some hearing potential here. But
No, my hearing's already beyond fucked. We're good.
okay.
Let's do this. Good morning, Azeroth. Yes, one
Perfectly
year of it,
executed.
baby. One fucking year of
It
Good
clipped
Morning
up at the
Azeroth.
top just for a minute.
It
Not
did,
too
good,
long,
good.
but not too little. Right there at that sweet
Wah,
spot.
perfect.
wah, wah,
It
love
clipped
to
right
see
in the
it.
middle.
Yep.
wah.
1 year of GMAs, guys. Thank you very much for hanging out with us and nerding out with us over the past year. We appreciate every single one of you and supporting the stream and doing all that. Little quick mini update for me. Got the Paladin to 60. Been having fun with that. Tanking 5-mans, tanking UBRS, LBRS. I was a little bit self-conscious to see if a Paladin could do it because they say you need a taunt for Drek and stuff. It's been pretty good though. I really enjoy tanking hybrid classes. So had this crazy stupid idea of tanking on a Moonkin. So I made a Moonkin a couple days ago, and he's up to 41 now, and we've been taking on the Moonkin, and it's freaking sweet, man. I'm loving the Moonkin tank, and I'm just sinking my teeth into it. There's a whole lot there to go through, and I think I had another Eureka moment last night that I'm going to share with you guys later, because we're going to be tanking ZF. We'll be tanking. The goal with the Moonkin is to tank UBRS, so stay tuned for that. So that's pretty much what's going on with me. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. And
I'm sorry for making your parrot flying all over the room, Tina. Sorry.
I gotta say something about Jerome too. So you may see under his class icon, it doesn't just have a Magus symbol. It has a 15x Magus symbol. Now, this man is a mad genius. I don't know if you've watched him on Twitch, but he has
You gotta. You have to.
15 mages that he roams the lands of Azeroth with. All blast wave spec, I think. Right?
Yeah.
And he just annihilates raids. It's like the coolest thing I've ever seen. I've seen some clips of it where you have this maniacal laughter and you're just killing raids. You spawn all at the same time in Blast Wave. Unbelievable. Jerome, man. What's going on with that? Was that your childhood dream that you're fulfilling now or something? Or like how did I...
Well, what happened actually is that I realized I'm really bad at world PvP. And the easiest thing for me to do is wait in a single spot and then kill people. That's way easier than actually like having to learn how to play the game properly. I mean, I'm trying to get better, but it's a long road, right? Everybody that plays this game is really good at it, and it's kind of hard to beat them. When you've got like 20 people coming at you with their flame reflectors and God knows what. It's just really hard. So it's a lot easier to just wait at the door to Molten Core and then just kill them when they walk through. Much.
I think you
easier.
found the ultimate meta. I think you found the ultimate meta of PvP. That's it. Just make 15 mages and you're good.
Yeah, and then just sit in
Yeah.
the same spot. You know, don't actually like learn how to play them or anything. No.
The gold farming potential of that too. You just one shot everything in the game. You walk around
Oh
as a
my
giant
God.
death ball and press.
The real secret to multi-boxing, Frostmaul Echoes. You can make up like 2,000 gold an hour. It's absolutely insane. Like
Oh.
people, if you're multi-boxing, like it's completely pay to win in that regard. You can make infinite gold.
Yo, feel free to not answer this, but Terraford in the chat says, so wait, the dude spends $224.85 a month on WoW. I'm clearly in the wrong business.
I actually have 32 accounts, and yeah, it's a mess. But that's why I need to get into retail at some point, because you can just pay for the accounts that way. That's what all other multi-boxers do. They did not inform me of this. Nobody's actually paying with actual money, except me. Who knew?
I see.
Dude, you could do that so
accounts.
easily. You could do it so easily. Just,
Yeah. It's like 1 day of farming, and I still haven't even bought it.
Jesus Christ, dude, that is freaking crazy. I feel a little
I'm
bit better
paid
about
up
my
for
3
a
accounts
year.
now.
No hit. I'm paid up for a year because of how much gold I had on my main from Legion.
Ooh, speaking
Really?
of modern WoW, speaking of Legion, guys.
Oh, let's show them that
strap
epic
in
mount.
for a
Should we
spicy-
show them?
Oh, should we start the
Let's
stream
do
with
it.
that?
Let's do it.
God, DefCam showed me this today, bro. If I wasn't already about the... Okay.
Oh no.
Let me do this to it.
I think
Where
it's
is it?
worse than the
Oh, dude, you guys ready for
the
this?
pig.
Oh no,
Let's go.
dude.
Let's
Alright, about to play it.
hit him with it. Hit him with it, baby. Not
Ladies
not
and
that
gentlemen.
one. Yeah. Oh, do you have
I
the
introduce
actual?
you to the latest and greatest addition to the classic WoW Super Serious Universe, guys. Take a look in all of its glory and all of its splendor.
Oh my God! The best part, his name is Squeakers, and look at his little hat. Look at his little hat.
Yo, let me get some hashtag
Oh
not
my
my
God.
Warcraft though. What is going on?
Yo, you gotta put the
with this,
video,
bro?
the one that this video, the one of the mount. You
First
gotta
they got the
watch that.
flying pig mount, now they got this DefCam.
Oh, dude, it's great.
This is
Oh,
canon now. The finisher says this is canon now. So
It's canon, yeah.
This is canon? How did this is the giant rat race? I mean, I don't know.
You gotta show them the wings. Play the video.
The wings? It flies?
Yeah, no,
Of
you
course
play
it's
the video I just sent you on Discord. Yeah. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Oh, you can't see its wings.
Oh,
Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah, there's the wings. See?
What?
Yo, what is the like to dislike ratio on this dude?
It's
What is
go
going
to
on?
the video. It's 2,000 dislikes.
2,000 dislikes?
Yeah, go to the video that I just
How
sent
many
you.
likes?
Yeah.
Hold on. I can't. I'm not that high production value, but DefCamp, I can only do one thing at a time, bro.
Oh,
Wait,
my bad.
33 upvotes, only 6,000. What about your video? How much? Okay, I'll plug it in. I'll plug it in.
Yeah. It's the main video of the mount. It's like
It's the main video. Okay.
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
see. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
dude, I can't like. Okay, like,
2.4k downvotes. So
to 800 or
so
likes or
900
whatever.
upvotes. So most
Yeah.
people think this is scuffed. I don't know, right?
I think that's a universal opinion here.
So who are they
Are you
making
looking
this
at
for?
it?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I mean, like, you know, it's who's this stuff being made for? This is what kind of what we're gonna be getting into, man.
I wonder if it poops. It probably does. I
Like,
wouldn't
so,
be.
all these new mounts, I feel like they're getting more dislikes than likes, man.
Yeah, I mean,
man.
especially this one. Yeah.
They
You know,
had the flying
is this
pig mount.
is this WoW's way of trying to capture the Chinese market?
Is it though?
But I feel like it's too like ridiculously like Chinese. You know what I mean?
Oh my god, dude. Okay,
Like the little
hold on.
hat and everything.
The little hat. Okay, so here, let me play this little. No, we'll do it in a second. Let me go back to the slides. Okay, so guys.
I don't want to derail you, but you remember that book series with like the singing mice or some shit? You remember that?
I
Anybody?
know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Is it based on that? Like, what the hell's going on here? Never mind. I'm not gonna get into it. You know what? I feel like it was a fever dream. I don't even know if those books even.
Ratatouille. No, that's not it. No,
Alright,
Ratatouille.
No, it was. Never mind. It was like red something. Never mind. Get me out of here.
No, it's all good. It's all good, dude. I'm all ate up. I don't know about all
man.
the Tide Pod eaters are doing these days. All right, so current state of modern WoW. We're gonna be talking about this, guys. This might be a little spicy. If we're coming off too strong, or me, I mean, I'm not even gonna speak for these guys. I don't even know if they agree with me or not. I just go off sometimes and write stuff. So they probably like they might even like BFA or something. Anyway, all right. So here's the thing. We're talking about the future of Warcraft. Right now, we have Classic out. Shadowlands on the horizon. BFA's here. What have we observed? A lot of big content creators, streamers, people have started to transition away from Classic and back towards Shadowlands. This is an observation, may or may not be true. I don't know the impact on the numbers precisely or whatever, but it sort of feels like Classic is kind of on the back burner. Have you guys checked your clients? If you open up your clients right now, this is what you're gonna see. Right, this is something that's kind of grinded my gears for a little bit now, because it hasn't just been now; it's been like this for a while.
I see the rat.
I go into Classic. Oh, you still see the rat? No, shoot up.
I see the rat on mine. Yeah.
Oh, you see the rat? I mean, so
you need to reload yours. Yeah.
If you launch, this is what I saw this morning on my launcher. Right, I've tried to play some Classic WoW. So I boot up the launcher and I'm about to hit play game. And everything here is just, it's all just BFA. Death Knight Early Access, Allied Races, Pandaren, Visions of N'Zoth now live, 30% off character services, Battle for Azeroth dungeon events. It feels like we're, it feels in my mind like we're kind of not even a legit enough community to have our own little news bulletins and our own little... Yeah. Does this bother anybody or not?
Dude, it should say BWL coming February, what is it?
Exactly. Yeah, 12th or 13th.
Yeah, that's what it
should say. By the way,
say.
Going on that, for EU, I feel like we are even in a worse situation than US. I don't know if you noticed, but for EU, it's always like BWL comes out in US at like prime time. For EU, it comes out at 12 p.m. like midnight, 12. How do you say that? 12 midnight. And that's on from Wednesday to Thursday, which is really weird hour to make a raid come out. That's the first thing. Same thing when the game launched. We had it on midnight with a midnight launch, and it's always like that. And it feels like oh yeah, we still have Europe. Let's just let's do it midnight or whatever. They don't work, right? So I don't know, man. It feels a bit annoying if you're living in Europe. They don't really do anything.
Europe's been having to take a lot of L's recently. It's felt like just across
the board.
Same with server numbers,
lack of servers. Getting DC'd. I mean, here's the thing though, right? Here's the thing. Before Classic came out, I'm sitting here on GMA complaining, whining about X, Y, or Z, and I'm lost in the sauce, thinking like, yo, Classic community could be tiny, right? Like I'm just over here like some old ate-up boomer talking about Classic WoW is all this and great. 90% of people might be having fun with the game, and I'm just over here complaining in my corner, right? But then the game came out, and it seemed like most people were in agreement that there was way more people playing Classic than BFA, right? Like it kind of validated. We never got the communication back from Blizzard to confirm or deny, and we still haven't really got the answer from Blizzard to confirm or deny how many people are playing Classic. But right now, I still think if we would poll the chat right now, I mean, feel free to answer, guys. Do you think more people are playing Classic? I'd say some people have moved away, but there's a good chance that it's the majority.
I think it's still, because like what's going on at BFA right now? Nothing, right?
Well, Visions of N'Zoth just came out apparently, and we're gonna watch that trailer and stuff. But how come it doesn't feel like it when it comes to the launcher and communication stuff? Like, where's the the dev Q&A here? I don't know.
Launcher, right? The launcher. You look at the launcher right now. You got to remember, Blizzard makes most of its money off of these kinds of transactions. You know what I mean? And even though they're putting it on the Classic launcher, which I think is probably they shouldn't be doing, they're still they know that's where they make the most of their money off of these microtransactions.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just trying to promote that and make more money. I mean, that comes down to that, right? It comes down to money, man.
I think so too.
This is what they make the money off of, the microtransactions.
Exactly. From Classic, they cannot really make money. The only thing they can do is server transfers, which they did already, and subscriptions, which they also get for BFA. So
true. I understand they have to make money, but right. But you have to find a balance, like all things. You can't chill too hard. I'll just say it. My man Alex said this one time. He said that like it's okay to make money when it comes to streaming, right? Or being a content creator or whatever, right? It's okay to make money. People don't usually mind if you make money, but your heart's got to be in the right place. You got to be honest. You got to be transparent. People know you have that gut feeling when you're crossing that line in the sand, right? So being authentic and true and being passionate and making good content comes first. The monetization comes second. So it's like a 60-40 type thing, 60% the content and passion is there, 40% monetization. I look at this and it goes 90% monetization, 10% wow is just a paycheck type thing. This is kind of the vibe I get, right? So it's like if they value us as a community, as a Classic WoW community, and they value us as a game, and if it's true that we take up the majority of the subs, right? Like, please confirm or deny that, Blizzard. Can we get a landing page that just is reflecting of Classic stuff? Even just a forum post or something.
I feel right now, like you said last GMA, I think also, is that it feels like a side product for them. And I feel like they could make so much more subs if they kind of... if they did it like different, if they had more promos for it on TV and stuff. There was so much... stuff to gain, like subs to gain, old players, new players, and it didn't really promote it very well. And even then, I feel like Classic still has more players. So I think it's like in an untapped market. Or, well, yeah.
What do you think, Jerome? I see you shaking your head over there.
Right now, I'm looking at it like this. Blizzard looks at Classic as sort of a marketing tool for retail, whereas it should be actually the other way around, right? It should be Classic is kind of the big thing, in my opinion. And I'm sure that the Classic sub numbers were higher than the retail back when the game launched, at least. And now it's going downwards because Blizzard is just kind of, they're in action, right? The very weird launch cycle. Everything has been, they've been kind of pushing the game downwards, where they should be pushing it up. I mean, the Classic should be just absolutely booming. And I'm sure the population is going to go way up when BWL comes out, but it's just like, why are they looking at it like a marketing tool for retail, where retail just has a fraction of the players? Well said. I think, at least.
Well said. And dude, this is just a bad look, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not getting any brownie points with Blizzard. I'm in zero current contact with anyone at Blizzard. I'm very appreciative of the game they've given us. I'm very happy. So at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal, right? But I think it's a bad look when this is the Classic WoW launcher. It says Classic WoW at the top left of it, right? You see my man Ragnaros in the background. This is the Classic WoW version of the launcher. And I have to see the furry Volpera thing right in front of my face. I gotta see this the mecha the robot gnome and the furry guy and Death Knights. Like I want to see that, man. Like can I exit out at least? Yeah. Like I'm trying to play classics. If this is the BFA launcher, sure, I get it. Yeah. I'd rather see anything. I'd rather see nothing on the screen. I don't know. It comes off too strong. Like they're pushing it too strong towards BFA and all this.
No, to me, it's too like much, going to the Diablo launcher and seeing something from like StarCraft or something like that. Like I understand, World of Warcraft is one launcher and you have to, then change it from there. But, Classic should be its own domain. It should be its own thing. And a lot of people who play, I'm sure there is a lot of crossover, right? There's people who play Classic and play BFA. But for the most part, most people that I know and that I've talked to, they only play Classic WoW, and I think maybe the majority of people are like that. I don't know. I think that would be a good poll, right? Is like, how many people actually do play both? But when I log on to, Classic WoW, I don't want to see stuff for BFA. I want to see what's going on in my world, in my realm. When BWL is coming out, what, other things are going on, when, Azeroth base and this kind of things. And I think it would just add that little bit of extra, the presence that we need of Classic WoW.
So let me get you guys' opinions on this right now. Because I want to be, hopefully it doesn't come off as a circle jerk, guys. How do you guys feel about current retail WoW, BFA? I don't want to, bias you in any way here. Like, I know Dunedin, you played it somewhat recently, you were rating on it somewhat recently. How do you guys feel about it? Because maybe I got to fall back here. And also that goes for the chat too. If you guys could be so kind, please state in a nutshell your current thoughts on the current state of modern WoW, not classic WoW, modern WoW. Sorry, go for it.
So I played it, but it's been a while right now. I played at Lounge, played the first raid, and then when the second raid came out, right when it came out, actually, I quit. I was interested in playing the second raid, to be totally fair. It was the only thing I really liked, the raiding. The problem is you had to do that grind, Azeroth power. Also, it's probably a thing not many people suffer from, but I had a lack of gold. And I guess the solution is just buy gold, because you can, right? But I didn't want to pay for it. And also, I was still waiting for a Classic. So I thought I'd just quit WoW for now, wait for Classic, and then be hyped on the Classic Lounge and stuff. So, to be totally fair, BFA is not the worst expansion I played, which is also not a popular opinion. For me personally, Legion was really unfun, and I know many people like Legion a lot, but no, just no.
I got it. I play a lot of Legion. I did a lot of the mythic rating stuff, and I think that's reading these comments right now, like it's really eye-opening. Like, so you see modern WoW is overwhelming, shallow, hollow, mind-numbing, busy work. When I log in, there's too much to do. I just wanted the simple stuff to fun. Only play. Wait, what was that? I prefer playing with people in Classic. If you're a mythic raider, it's great. Raids are incredible. If you're not on the above, get scuffed. That's how I feel. Like if you're not in a mythic raiding guild, that's what I'm talking about.
There's just one point I want to hone in on. I want to just focus. I want to put the hunter's mark up on this one point, guys. Pausing for effect here too. It's about to go down. PvP and raiding is good and has been good is an argument. This is an argument that I hear. When I went over to London to do the Red Bull event over there, people are saying Mythic rating has been good for expansions. Blizzard has been very consistent. They've made high quality raid encounters. PvP has been good. It's competitive, mechanically great, right? So this is an argument that they said that's why I play retail WoW, for the PvP and the rating. So here's my very specific point on that. That may be true, right? To a certain degree, and people are very much invested in that. That's cool. But my overall thoughts when I look at modern WoW is the game just isn't cool anymore. It's just not cool. Like, it's too kiddie. The direction is messed up. Like, the game has to fundamentally be kind of cool. It has to have some swag to the game. The game is lame as the game is lame AF, to be honest. Like, and they've gone for a very kiddie Disney Pixar look and feel. I'm gonna pull up what current WoW feels like to me. Again, I'm not trying to put words in their mouth. This is what it feels like to me.
Yeah. We
have to remember, even if they're trying to cater the game to 10 and 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, we were like 14 when we started playing classic WoW, bro. We were like 14 and we were not like, we didn't want like little kiddie games. Even back then, we were into Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings just came out, right? We wanted the big savage orcs. We logged into classic WoW. It was kind of like taking Lord of the Rings online, sort of, you know. And so that's how I feel like that can exist. The PvP and the mythic rating can still be great. I get it. But at its heart, the game doesn't feel immersive, doesn't feel cool. It feels overly complicated. It feels like a bad Michael Bay movie for like 11-year-olds. Everything is glowing. Everything has, has auras on it. Everything is purple and pink. There's no subtlety to the color palette. It's just scuffed, man. I don't know. And
I feel like Frozen is pretty cool if you compare it to current retail. But one thing I wanted to say, sorry, Jerome, by the way, but I wanted to say the ratings is nice. You're totally right there. And the thing is, what's the main difference right now, for me at least, that is you have to do so many things. People say vanilla WoW, I don't have time to play vanilla WoW, it's so time consuming. Well, it's actually just the other way around for me. If I play BFA, I have to log in every week, every day basically, even do those weeklies, do those dailies, and if I don't do that, I can't catch up with everyone. I can't be in that mythic raiding guild. And if I play classic WoW, I can do whatever I want, and I can raid whenever I want, as long as I have some decent gear. It's all fine. You can do it at your own pace. So I don't see why I don't follow that argument.
So you think it's the opposite?
Jerome,
it's the opposite. Yeah, Jerome. Yeah, and Jerome, he was saying before that he didn't actually play retail, right? So I'll let you answer. I'm just curious, because you have a fresh take on this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, I just look at it like this. Like, classic to me is all about the leveling. Like, it's all about that leveling experience. Yes. The quests are the best part of the game. Like, all the leveling is kind of where like I found my most enjoyment. The end game is, I mean, it's fun. It's open ended. You can do whatever you want. But ultimately, I definitely enjoy the leveling process the most, which is why I'm leveling a bunch of characters right now off screen. And basically, I feel like retail. My assumption is that they've lost that leveling process entirely, where you're kind of skipping past most of the content. And so you're getting to the end game, and sure, maybe they've improved the end game in some ways. They found ways to get people to log in, but ultimately, it's just not going to be as fun as that initial experience of doing all the quests, which are very well written, they're very fun. A lot of the quests are great, memorable. It's just like all that's gone now. That's my assumption at least.
So I agree with 100%.
When you look at Shadowlands coming out and you watch the trailers, Jerome, from your perspective, since you didn't play Legion, right? You didn't play BFA. You look at it. What is going through your mind right now? If it looks genuinely cool to me, for the love of God, please tell me that so I can understand. I'm trying to desperatly get into the mindset of people who enjoy it and understand it a little bit better. What is it?
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. The story does not make any sense to me right now. I'm coming about 6 expansions too late to know anything about what's going on. I don't know who the villains are, who the heroes are, but I mean, it looks kind of cool. I think I'll definitely play it because I need to make gold so I don't have to spend money on accounts anymore. So I will be playing it regardless of whether it's fun or not. But, I mean, I don't know. I hope for the best,
It's an honest answer. It's an honest, authentic answer. You love to see it. Big Jerome. I'm in. So
these comments are really telling them, man. Like 3 days later, already sick of 8.3.
Yeah.
Played in the Enter 8.3 content. Retail WoW feels more like an ARPG than a strategic RPG. Yeah, I mean, like read it from the people here who are experiencing it.
It's more of the same, man. I'm dying to get Gordon Ramsay to walk up into Blizzard headquarters and be like, "Are you done? Are you done, mate? Mate, are you done? Have you lost your passion, mate? Like, grab your bollocks and actually make a good game. Don't like they're kind of just take some pride in the game, man. Like, bring it back." So I'm trying to connect the dots here. If Classic WoW is taking up the majority of the player base, if it's a massive success, if it was a surprising success, Blizzard is happy with the performance of Classic WoW, why not make Modern WoW more like Classic WoW? And that's a spicy point, but you just have to go for it. In 2020, it's a new decade.
I think they are trying that, and that's also part of the reason I say BFA is more fun to me than Legion, even though probably Legion is a better game than BFA is. I feel like with Legion they went as far as they could from Classic, as far off as they could, and BFA they took some slight steps in the right direction, way too few steps, and it probably didn't really work out. But just the idea that there were some kind of small steps towards vanilla WoW, that made it feel a bit better to me personally. And I think if I read Shadowlands and what they plan to do with it, they take baby steps towards Classic
now,
WoW.
Yeah. So I kind of disagree with you guys in the sense that, okay, like, I understand that, you know, yeah, maybe it's good to take some of the good things from Classic WoW and try to, you know, better retail WoW. But in my opinion, like, I think there should be a clear difference between Classic and retail. And I kind of, I mean, because in my eyes, I kind of feel like retail's it's done in my eyes. So I'd rather see a clear, distinct change or a clear, distinct difference between Classic and retail. I don't want someone, you know, yeah. So that's like, you know, I understand, like, so they're squishing the level thing, right? So, you know, I'm afraid someone's gonna log on. Oh, this guy's level 60, he's playing Classic WoW, and if they don't know the difference, they're gonna, you know what I mean? I'd rather them try to make retail better in other ways, but I don't think that's possible in my opinion.
I totally see what you're saying, but at the same time, I'm a bit selfish, and I still want to play a game like Classic was for us back in the day, and we cannot have that with an old game. We need a new game for that.
Dude, I love you, dude. First of all, that's a separate point, but that's I 100% agree with you, right? Because you watch Preach's video. Shout out to Preach, he's a homie. He's been around for an OG, right? What are a lot of these people saying right now, guys, in the videos? You guys have been watching the videos, right? They've been saying this. Classic WoW is a great game. I had a lot of fun playing Classic WoW, but I've done the content before. It's static content. That doesn't bother me. It's like basketball. It's like tennis. I'll play it a million times over. It's repeatable. I view the entire life cycle of a server as one game of Dota, right? Why do you keep leveling up a new guy in Dota and leveling up each time? Why do you keep getting the same gears? Why do you keep getting the little tangos and the potions and the meta potions and upgrading your gear and getting Blink Dagger every single time, every hour? Why do you keep doing it over again? It's the same thing. You can do the same thing. It's like a giant game of Dota. So it doesn't bother me. This is what they're saying. It's a static game. I did the content already, so I'm going to go back to retail, you know, because it's fresh. So what I'm saying is that if the game design principles were so good back in the day, and it caused this massive resurgence in subs, why don't they do something about it? And if we were living in Cargos' selfish, you know, world, like kind of fantasy, lucid dream universe, I'll just tell you what I would want to see happen for current WoW to get me, what it would take to get me to log in and play current WoW, like the current WoW again, would be a total reset, a fresh. Wipe the slate clean. I know everybody's gonna get triggered because they're losing their squeaker mounts and stuff, but just wipe the slate clean. Just max.
I'm not happy if I can't have my squeaker mount. Okay, I've already got the body pillow. I've already got the collectible.
Got the body pillow.
Squeaker mount.
That's solid, dude. That's solid. But yo, the ultimate fresh, you know, unapologetic decision, right? One of the reasons why Vanilla WoW is so good, right? Unapologetic decision. The Deep Run Tram doesn't care if you missed the train. The Zeppelin doesn't care if you missed the train. You know, the game doesn't care if you kill the mob or not. There's no one holding your hand in Classic. Like, if anything, the game is super frustrating at times, but it's unapologetic. Blizzard needs to make a big, unapologetic decision, not in the interest of stakeholders, not in the interest of money. People are going to get upset. So what, dude? Reset the game. Re-release it as World of Warcraft.
Such a good point.
I don't want a new expansion, Rise of the Volpera, or like, you know, Furries Strike Back. I don't want the new expansion, right? I want it to be just World of Warcraft, re-released, new game, fresh game.
It's too far gone. It's too far gone, in my opinion. I'm sorry. Like, we've had this conversation a lot, and they're like, what can be done to save retail? And dude, they just have to start fresh, man. In my opinion, they have to start completely new from something new. Like we have Classic. Hopefully, we'll have TBC. And as far as retail WoW, dude, just let it die.
Just let it die, right? Here's one of the reasons why I even wanted to talk about this on stream, right? Because I kind of resigned. I kind of threw in the towel because you guys have heard me say this on stream for weeks and weeks, right? I have cognitive dissonance. So I currently play and make money. It's my primary source of income. So it even feels even worse because I'm like a 29-year-old man-child. I'm making my most of my money playing Classic WoW 15-year-old game, right? And I love Warcraft. I want to pour myself into it. I want to be a bastion of the community. I want to be a voice of relatability for all of you guys out there, right? But I struggle because this game is I love this iteration of the game, the power level, the Defias, Brotherhood storylines, Onyxia, Ragnaros. I love that. But when I look at the larger Warcraft universe, it looks like a giant joke to me, man. It looks like a sci-fi mess. It looks like an absolute dumpster fire. It's not cool to me. I would have a hard time going up in Warcraft's corner in the boxing ring and getting like, yo, Warcraft is awesome, man. Here's why, X, Y, and Z. Warcraft is dope. It's like Magic the Gathering. It's like Dungeons and Dragons, high fantasy. I can't do that right now in the current state of things. So, you know, that's the cognitive dissonance I have. So I'm sorry, I'm going to get to the point, though. The point is, do we just throw in the towel and resign and say, let's wait for something new? Or is there a way we can just pull it back and say, all that new recent lore, we're going to wipe the slate clean. You know, you can deal with it. You know, we're just going to, like, somehow erase it or something. God, if you guys have ideas, is there a way to actually salvage it and make it cool again? Or are we done here? I don't know.
You know my opinion.
I want to hear Jerome first. if possible.
Honestly, I think the ship has sailed. I mean, I don't think there's going to be a reset. I don't think there's going to be another WoW sequel or anything. Didn't they were making another MMO, right? And they just turned it into Overwatch, right? So
Yeah.
I think the ship has sailed. I don't really entirely trust Blizzard to do much of anything right now. So, I mean, I think as the best we can hope for is that they pull it back. Maybe the level reset. Maybe that'll get people to questing again. Maybe we can go back to the old quest again. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with the 1 to 60, but I'm hoping for the best there. I mean, they should do some kind of level reset where we revisit all the old content, right? That would be a really good idea, I think, and just get people questing again, enjoying the old content again.
I think that's what they're trying to do, right? Where they want to have it so that people can basically level in like one zone. But I still think it's going to be way, 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 way quicker than it would be than it is in Classic WoW, right?
And if I understood it correctly, the world still scales with your level. Is that right?
Right. Right.
So as long as that's the case, that's not MMO to me.
They should remove that. That would be an easy fix. Just remove that right now.
Yeah, they made it. I guess they took a lot of resources to create it, so I guess they didn't want to. But can you fix it? Was the question, right?
Yeah, can you fix it, or do we let it die? Do we euthanize it, or do we? And that was honestly kind of my perspective on it, guys, because I have all this cognitive dissonance. I'm gonna be like, I'm just not gonna think about it. I'm just gonna out of sight, out of mind it. I'm just gonna keep playing vanilla WoW because it's fun. And then Warcraft is probably just going to die. So we can go that route. That's actually the route we're going right now. It's more of the same. It's absolutely insipid, the new expansions. Yes, the PvP is good. Yes, the mythic rating is good. I'm giving those communities that. They're really into it. But the game's just not cool. Does anybody in here, out of all of you guys, think that Warcraft is cooler than, like, Tolkien? I don't think anybody's going to think it's cooler than Tolkien, dude. You look at Tolkien, you look at Lord of the Rings, that's a rich, high fantasy universe, super fleshed out. The races are cool. There's nothing corny about it. It's something as a nerdy neckbeard man-child, you can take pride in that universe, and that lore is defensible. You can defend that lore. You know,
you can say that classic.
Game.
You can say the classic is kind of at the same level as Tolkien universe. Is that what you were going to say?
Sort of.
Literally every fantasy game or every fantasy thing that I mean has taken something from Tolkien, right? So it's like I don't think anything can compare with Tolkien, but you can take like the best of it, like with Classic WoW did, right? You had all these rich, really, especially in Warcraft, 1, 2, and 3, doing the orc versus humans and all that. You had this really rich story. You had this really amazing characters, and you were part of the story, right? You had to do the quest to do the story. Nowadays, it's thrown in your face. Everything is this is happening, this is cinematic, this that. In order to know the story and know what's going on, you had to do quests. You had to experience things. You had to go out and find shit that no one else knew was going on. And you had these amazing quests like the Scepter of the Shifting Sands, and then you had like just shit like that, man. It'll never happen again. And as WoW went on, we lost a little bit. I think the last time I was actually proud of being a WoW player was probably in Wrath, because the story was still kind of cool. You had the Lich King, all this, but you lost something every expansion. As much as I love TBC, you lost a lot in TBC.
That's probably what happened, because they got acquired during Wrath, right? They probably had these really rich stories from Warcraft 3. Yeah. Warcraft 3, like they had all these rich stories people loved, Stratholme, Calling of Stratholme, and they probably kind of had some people leave the company at that point because the game had already been out for a while. Some of the inspiration and passion left. They got bought out. Now they have board. Now they have to take care of stakeholders, make data-driven decisions, and they kind of were out of really good inspired stories, and it just started to kind of degenerate from there. I don't know what to say, but I believe there is possibly a way forward, to preserve, the integrity of the Warcraft IP and name and Azeroth as a whole, like, and like, you know, Grace Day says, "Okay, boomer." I was actually waiting for someone to say, "Okay, boomer," because this is like that textbook type thing, like, "Get off my lawn, you damn kid! Stop eating the Tide Pods." But it's like, you know, the current WoW feels like Elsa from Frozen Throne, or not Frozen Throne, from Frozen. You know, well, in my mind, it would be dope if they were like, you know what? We are Activision motherfucking Blizzard, guys. We care about our games and passion and good stories and like high fantasy more than money. The money's fine, but we have a lot of money already, dude. We have millions of dollars. The money is just white noise. We are Activision motherfucking Blizzard, and we about to make the best universe on the goddamn planet. So let's wipe the slate clean. Oh, you don't like it, bro? Unsub. Have a good one. Go over there. League of Legends over there. Fortnite over there. Oh, we Tide Pods over there. We're going to wipe the slate clean. We're going to re-release World of Warcraft. We're going to bring it back to our roots. It's going to make it more D&D-like, Tolkien-like, Magic the Gathering, The Witcher, Diablo. That would be dope. That would be my dream, but I don't know.
Yeah,
would it happen?
Oh, the thing is, someone in chat said it too, but there's a new MMO coming out from Activision, the Lord of the Rings MMO, right?
Oh yeah.
So that might be something, but when you have an MMO which is entirely based on Lord of the Rings, I feel like I have a fear that it might not be what we want it to be, because you expect a certain thing from Lord of the Rings MMOs and or Lord of the Rings things in total. Like if they bring out a new series like they're going to do, it has to be at the same level as the movies were, otherwise people think it's shit, right? So the game is probably going to suffer the same thing. So I think like Warcraft is a way safer universe to build in than Lord of the Rings for a game like that. Yeah. But anyway, it would be nice to check it out. If it's a good MMO, I will definitely try it and play it. I can't really get hyped for it until I see it.
Too soon, right?
Let's just make our own MMO, guys.
It's the type of thing, man, that if the Lord of the Rings MMO comes out and it's good, I may not play WoW anymore, man. It'd be a sad sight to see. Like, you know, I've worked so hard to build Warcraft content and stuff, but it's the type of thing that's just not cool, man. Like, just no longer cool. Like, the lore is scuffed. It's not. You know, that would be a sad sight to see. You know, but like, if the Lord of the Rings universe is, you know, I don't know, man. Well, I don't know.
Has to be perfect, though.
My hope is that we get a second release here, where we get the TBC onwards, maybe, and we leave the classic servers. Obviously, you know, just leave the classic servers, but you can transfer your characters over to TBC, and we go TBC, and then maybe from there, maybe they make so much money that they start doing a TBC plus, maybe something like that, a classic plus. I don't know, maybe a little bit too optimistic, but that would be great. Just like build on classic, right? Build on classic, start over. That's probably our best bet to get something we actually want that's new and fresh. Well, that's to build on classic somehow.
That classic plus argument, right? So I get that, but at the same time, there's too much at stake there at the same time. So even if Blizzard does go to shit and we go down this path and the game continues to degenerate, and then we have, you know, little teddy bears and everything walking around, and yet I don't even know what's the next map. Where do we go from here with flying pigs and rats? Yeah.
In a perfect world, Jerome, I 100% agree with you, right?
Yeah.
That would be the way to go, but I just don't trust Blizzard.
We're in a position where at least we have classic. So basically, till the end of, you know, my boomer lungs, you know, until my boomer lungs stop breathing air, like I can play classic and have a great time with it, right? And it'll be good. So if they build up on classic and do classic plus, then, you know, you're jeopardizing that, and like, you know, the historical importance of the game, everything could get messed with if they do it in a wrong way. Like that would be the ballsy, unapologetic decision for Blizzard. That would not seem like it might actually rebuild authenticity and trust with the community again, right? If you guys out in the stream are listening to this right now, imagine Blizzard did that. They actually didn't take the path of most money and just straight up wiped the slate clean and said, I mean, you've worked really hard for your pixels and everything, we get it, but, you know, we're trying to salvage our universe here, right? Like, so, I mean, sorry, not sorry. Like, enjoy your rat mount on maybe this other server or something, and then they're gonna go wipe it clean. That would be that bold, unapologetic, we're back, baby. We're back, you know?
Never happen.
You know, it might. They reset the level, so maybe they reset something else.
I mean, at the level of Cargos is asking for, like,
yeah, I know.
I don't think that would ever, just because there's too much money at stake.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they make a lot of money off of people buying rat mounts and shit. You know, they really do. They make more money
it's on the
than
launcher,
they do on the subs. Like, yeah, that's why it's on the launcher. And I don't think if they have the bosses that they have wanting the money, wanting this, that, and the other, they have to adhere to those guidelines. And unless Blizzard just grew a giant pair and said, screw it, which I don't know would ever happen, because they have, you know, they're so ingrained in Activision now that they have to adhere to these, you know, having these having all this money, and you know what I mean, having like enough
to
money
make enough money, right? But if they made the case, if someone with
know?
like, you know, absolute balls of steel went into the boardroom and said, look guys, we can keep doing this, what we're doing right now, and we'll make some money off microtransactions, but a big picture, Warcraft's going to die, and people are going to no longer be interested. They're going to move on to other stuff. So, you know, it's actually more financially beneficial to make this world, to bring this world back and go back to our roots and actually create this awesome universe so that the next 100 years can be filled with Warcraft instead of the next 5 or 10. You know, the thing is...
The question is... Are we asking for too much? Since I mean, like, if we didn't have Classic, I'd feel like, yeah, like let's go down this route. But the fact that we have Classic, and we have hopefully, you know, TBC or whatever happens afterwards, the fact that we have that, I'm kind of content with this right now. You know, I'm kind of content with retail doing whatever it happens. I'm not going to play. It's not my game. Whatever, Classic is my game. You know what I mean? And I think at the point we have to kind of like see what do we actually want, you know.
You're right, but they need to take care a bit more of Classic.
I agree.
I think right now, if the perfect private server comes out and it has itemization, progressive itemization, and everything that basically the people who wanted Classic asked for, if that server comes out and they can provide a stable server and it doesn't get taken down by Blizzard or whatever, then they might have some kind of problem, I feel.
Yeah.
That's
if that
hilarious
server,
to think, dude.
I mean,
a private
isn't
server could outdo Classic. That would be insane, dude. That
I
makes me
said,
scratch my head a little bit, like, because they would be actually having lots of customer support and community service. I'm not advocating private servers. You guys do what you want. You guys are grown people, right? But it's funny to even think that could be a possibility, you know.
I think that ship has sailed though, because there would be no streamers, right? And so without the streamers, I feel like it would just be way less marketing, way less advertising of it.
Yeah.
True. You know, because streamers are all going to get banned if they stream. And I mean, the main plus of Classic is that, you know, the servers aren't going to disappear, and that's something that is more valuable than, unfortunately, it's more valuable than everything else. Like the itemization. I know they messed it all up, but still,
so
it's
it
really
depends
valuable.
though. It's valuable for now, for a year, maybe for 2 years, but in 5 years, if they don't change anything and just still same thing, and they don't add TBC or whatever, then it changes again, right?
Yeah, that's true. So do you guys know who Noble is? I know you guys in the chat know who he is. He's like a lore guy, right?
Noble 87,
so, yeah, Noble 87. All right, so I would be profoundly curious if anyone knows Noble. Someone who is actively up to date with BFA lore, BFA gameplay, has played the game consistently, genuinely and wholeheartedly prefers the BFA experience. A champion of BFA, so to speak. Someone who is like an enthusiast for Battle for Azeroth and all things modern Warcraft. I would absolutely love them. I would pay them money to come on the stream and defend it and go to bat for it. Go to bat for it and say, look, you're missing out, Cargos. You're misguided here. You're missing out. The lore is actually very rich, and it actually makes perfect sense. You're just not understanding it. Here's the timeline. Here's why it's cool. It is a space game, but I like a space game. Space games are dope. Space games, I like Star Wars. It's great, you know, like, and just break it down for me, because that would make me kind of chill out a little bit. Right now, I'm not like on chill because I feel like it's, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I've watched a lot of his videos, and even some of the stuff, I still keep up tabs sometimes on some of the current stuff, but, you know, I just think that for him, is it just like, okay, for him, he's motivated to try to keep up with it, right? Because his livelihood depends on it as well. So, I mean, I think he would defend it first in that way, right? True. Because his livelihood depends on it. Number two, it could just be the style of game that he likes. Like you said, maybe he just likes that kind of play. I mean, and to each his own, man. Anyone who likes, you know, the current state of retail, like that's all you, bro. You know,
it is. I want to understand though. I really want to understand though, like genuinely, because like I'm watching the cinematic right now and it's popping up, and you guys can just see the differences. I mean, it's Disney Princess, man. It's Pixar. It's Moana. It's My Little Pony. I don't know. If I was 12 years old, I'd be playing the Lord of the Rings game probably. If I saw this for the first time, we got my man over here. Looks like Blade with a perm. Dude, what is that? Who is that guy? This guy's got a straight up perm. Look at those, bro. Is this the Disney Channel?
Wings?
Yo, is this the Disney Channel, dude? Are we watching the Disney Channel right now? Is this? Look at this guy's eyes. My man's got a perm. Dude, is this Disney Plus? Come, yo, Is this?
I know, dude. I know.
They might
Jerome.
break into song pretty soon, though, so you never know.
It's a matter of time, bro. They're gonna. I swear to God,
Wait,
they're
where's
gonna
the
break into
teapots and shit? Yeah, yeah.
This dude's got a straight perm, man. Like
Yeah.
walking around, I don't know, man. I don't know. These eyes,
Yeah,
like this.
Rapkin,
If
that's
I was
the name.
12 years old and I was in middle school and I was watching this, on God, I would not like this. If I was fresh to this and I had no investment, and I watched this, I'd be like,
Yeah.
no, thanks, bro. I'd rather play just about anything else.
Oh, dude, remember those amazing like cinematics from the classic and
Classic. It's the
seeing
best.
the orc and from Warcraft 3 and the
Mhm.
guy battle, like that kind of shit. Even the TBC one, with the Janai dude with the book, like it looks
Oh, yeah.
so much
Oh, yeah.
better. Looks so much better.
And it had less of those dialogues and all that crap.
Yeah.
It was just the
The
atmosphere.
dialogue should be the quest. Like you should have to
Mhm.
experience things through the quests and not have shit like this thrown in your face.
Honestly, I think they put way more time now in dialogues and stories and all that kind of stuff and quests,
Look at
and
his
it,
eyes.
it just plays worse than the originals. So I think that's kind of lost resources in a way. But if I look at this, I compare it a little bit with I don't know if you guys played Age of Empires and stuff.
Mhm.
They came out like I think it was like 8 years ago. There was a new Age of Empires online game, and that was basically the same thing. So Age of Empires was always like the nice dark medieval RTS series, and then Age of Empires Online was like that cartoony game that no one played and was full of microtransactions, and it's basically exactly the same story if you look at it. It immediately reminded me of that.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I remember that old that Age of Empires Online. Like I played it for like 2 hours or something, but I played Age of Empires 2 for probably like 1,000. So I totally get what you mean there.
Exactly.
Hey,
Yeah.
So Windfall just said, he said, you got to realize that WoW is not going to be interesting to you forever. People just lose interest. You guys are getting older. WoW retail has good rating. That's what it's for. Maybe he's right. I mean,
no, but wait. That doesn't. Hold on. Let's break that down though.
yeah.
It's not going to be interesting forever. I mean, the thing is changing, though. That's the thing. Like, if it was, like, for Token, for example, it's, like, kind of static. I don't know. I mean, are they making adjustments to that universe? I'll like that forever. That will be cool to me forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I will find that really dope. I don't think I'm ever going to stop liking high fantasy type things. That will just be a consistent thing throughout my life.
Right.
It hasn't changed. I've liked it since I was a young lad. I will continue to like high fantasy. Now, if, like, Tolkien got resurrected from the dead and started integrating Dora the Explorer into the universe, then I might not like it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I get the whole rating is good, PvP is good argument, but I'm just saying fundamentally the game's not immersive.
Yeah.
It looks like a cheesy Michael Bay movie for 11-year-olds, and I don't know.
Can we relate this to Star Wars for a second? So
Sure.
I was a huge fan. I don't know if you guys are a huge fan of Star Wars. I was a huge fan of Star Wars back in the day, episodes 4, 5, and 6, right? And I feel like that is completely different to what we're getting now in Star Wars. I feel like there's a lot of similarities. I feel like classic WoW is Star Wars, the original, 4, 5, and 6. The prequels, I don't know, just throw them out for a second, right? Because that's where they belong. No, I'm kidding. And then now you have the current Star Wars, which is very much like retail WoW. I feel, for me, like, yeah, okay, there are some things that, like, I'm very much not a fan of what is coming out in Star Wars nowadays with, the story, with the direction that they went. A lot of shit just doesn't make sense. There's, like, horrible, just things that are kind of thrown in your face, and it just, the style of it is, to me, completely different than how it was in the original, episodes 4, 5, and 6. And you also had back then, and then you also had, like, Lucas came out with trying to, it was a slow and change. You had the prequels that came out, which became a lot more kiddie in a lot of ways, right? And now you have it becoming even more kiddie and more kiddie. And I think there's a lot that we can look at from the Star Wars universe and translate it to classic that just has so many similarities.
Yeah, I see some parallels right there. Can I ask you guys something? You're into Star Wars, Jerome or Def Camp? I don't know too much about it.
I am, yeah.
You are, okay.
Yeah.
So what they did with The Mandalorian, if I ask the chat right now how The Mandalorian is, I started watching it. I just watched episode 1.
Antilles players are rewritten to be part of a larger design and not the single savior. Then the writing and lore will remain trash.
Thank you, Justin, for the $5, man. I appreciate it, dude. That's a good point. But what I was saying about The Mandalorian, so Mandalorian is a more kind of dark, edgy, gritty storyline. I don't know how that slots in with the rest of the universe, but it feels like it's just sort of like a side plot that's going down at the same time.
It is, right. So it's not really the whole of like using the Mandalorian as an example is kind of not that good because it's a side thing. I think using the movies.
I'm saying, could they do that though with Warcraft though? In order
have a side thing?
In order to preserve like sort of that classic swag and all that type of stuff, maybe they could do just like a side, in the context of the same time of classic or something.
Right, because I like the Mandalorian. I do. I think the Mandalorian's a good story. I think it's good storytelling. I think there are some aspects of it that are really good. And could they do something like that in WoW? So yeah, that's not a bad question. I just feel like the direction they went with the movies was very much retail to me. Like I see them very similar. Like it's retail WoW. It's basically but the Star Wars that I remember, from as a kid, right? Like having these amazing battles, having this amazing story, such rich fantasy, right? Like Luke Skywalker, this person who is just, this kid, kid who you want to slap, becoming this amazing Jedi, right? Never gives up hope. Like, his father how they made Luke, like in retail, just completely wrong. Like they just took this amazing story and twisted it and molded it to make whatever kind of claims they want to make, them talk about whatever they want to talk about, and just didn't get the point of like what Star Wars was, in my opinion, and twisted that. And then I feel like that's pretty much what they did with retail WoW. They got
what happened with Sylvanas.
Yeah, honestly. And Sylvanas, like exactly, Dane. They had this story that Chris Metzen made, and all these amazing characters, all this richness, and they just twisted it to fit their own narrative and to fit what they wanted to talk about, or to just draw whatever they could out of it anymore, to take the last bit of blood. And yeah, I feel like Disney is retail. Exactly, P Smiles. Baby Yoda is.
If you could be, the mover and shaker of the universe like you are in BFA, how would you have the next 10 years of Warcraft play out?
Say that again.
That's one for DevCamp. I don't know.
Say that again, Carter.
Are we going TBC? Are we going Classic Plus? Is retail just going to continue more of the same expansions on and on and on, maybe for another 3-4 years?
Okay, in gameplay, you mean? Okay.
Just like the way Warcraft plays out over the next 10 years.
What we would like to see, or what we think is going to happen?
No, what you would like to see. Like what would be?
If you're in charge, what would you do?
Because we're talking about we're bringing up problems, and I don't want to come off as it's really only kind of like whining and complaining if you don't have a solution, right? If you're just bringing up problems and you don't have a solution, like that's why we're trying to present solutions as well, potential, just throwing it out there into the cosmos.
I'll start. Okay. Here's the thing. I want to say this before I say anything. Classic Plus, I think, would be amazing. I think it would be awesome if we had the developers from Classic. If we had, I feel like there's too much at stake to go wrong with Classic Plus that I'm afraid of, right? And that's why I personally would rather go with what we already know, with TBC, with Wrath, continue that down that road. I don't want Classic to turn into retail, and that's my fear in some kind of way. I understand that, yes, they can build off of, they can do a lot of amazing things. But I think all of us have to take a deep look and say, yes, we want Classic Plus because it could be amazing at what its potential is fucking awesome, right? Classic Plus could be the answer to everything, but is it actually possible in our realm to make Classic Plus work? I'm very hesitant about that.
I'm very hesitant as well, but it actually is kind of we're talking about them making a new WoW and stuff and cater to the old school. That would kind of do it, there's so much at stake, bro, that I guess if they went Classic Plus, there always could be private servers, right, of the original game. If they went Classic Plus and it was scuffed, like that, code and all that is out there, like, the OG, and we know what the official Classic values and stuff like that. So that's one thing I just thought about right now at this very second, that if Classic Plus did get scuffed, there still is like a fallback option, like people would spring up, they would, roll out private servers or whatever about.
For sure, indeed. I'd see Jerome nodding all the time, so.
Well, yeah, what do you think, Jerome? Sorry, we talk a lot, we blabber on here a lot. Yeah, man, how you?
Oh, well, the question was 10, what do you want for the next 10 years?
Yeah.
Well, I hope that they give us TBC and separate servers, obviously, so you can still play Classic. I think we're going to need the content. I think otherwise people are going to run out. I don't want to say it, but I mean, there's not going to be a ton in the end game after next. I mean, after December or whenever that comes out, there's going to be a long period where people, finally they start dropping off. So I mean, we definitely need TBC at some point, and they need to separate the servers, I think. So give you an option to switch over, because I don't think they should just ruin Classic and just like completely remove that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, I think that's obvious. That's only like a 3-year plan, though. I don't really know the next 7 years. No clue at all. But hopefully,
Not sure
I
if
mean, they
they
might go
should.
Wrath of the Lich King too. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think they should run both classic and TBC and retail? I feel maybe that's too much. I don't know.
I think they have to do it though, because Classic people are not going to be happy. I think they have to give you an option. I think you can clone your character over, maybe play both at the same time. That would work.
Or fresh classic servers, again after
guess
that.
so.
Yeah.
Oh, I would
thought
love
they
a league type
should.
system where and a new every 6 months or so start Classic over again. I mean that might be too
6
smart for
months.
them, but
Yeah.
every
you
year,
can just
I don't know.
separate it from servers, right? So you go into the World of Warcraft Classic like we have now, right? Same launcher thing. You go in there, and then you have the option of Classic servers, TBC servers, Wrath servers, whatever, right? They're all there. I think that would be the best way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they
Maybe,
could crush the
maybe.
servers down so that there's still population on everything. I mean, it would really work well, I think, but they'd have to take a risk there. They'd have to take a chance.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people one of the appeals to them of Classic is that their character is going to exist forever, right? But
Yeah.
the server, with Classic, but the servers will shut down eventually. Somewhere it's just like life. Everything comes and goes. Like you live, you die, right?
Yeah.
Like So I think people should maybe not be super scared of losing their character. Like it's the seasonality. It's the cyclical nature of it that keeps it fresh, right? So it's like a game of Dota. You level up in Dota and you get the best items. You get best in slot, right? Now
It's like a really long
We're
Dota,
just gonna
yeah,
play
yeah.
that Dota guy forever, just running around with the
Yeah.
ancient, killing the same low level mobs with Bis armor on the map, just killing wave after wave. Like no, just play it again, man. Like restart the Dota game, try it again. So that's another line of reasoning where if we get classic TBC Wrath, that might be it, dude. That might be enough content to just be champions of that forever. And the advantage of like a static game over like a dynamic, constantly updating game is you know what to expect, and it becomes like something like almost like an esport. I know some people get rubbed the wrong way with that, but it's a static game. You can have really, really passionate, knowledgeable people about it, and it's just like commentating a game of like basketball or tennis or whatever, and you can. It's timeless, we could play that for the rest of our natural lives if we wanted to, and that would be a lot of content right there. You could do it differently each time, and so maybe you don't necessarily need them to recreate the wheel here. I don't know.
Do you think
No,
I kind of like the idea of classic TBC red servers being there all the time? Do you think if they kind of do it in cycles and let's say it's a 2-year cycle, would it make sense at a certain point to make balance changes for classic, for example? Not necessarily content changes, so don't add anything, but just balance changes. I noticed like games of Age of Empires again, games like Age of Mythology, they brought out balance changes lately, and it's a 15-year-old or 20-year-old game, and now they are adding those things. They don't really change the game; they just do
What kind
things.
of balance changes? Like what are you talking about?
Like make balanced druids do slightly more damage, stuff like that, and
No, I'm
nerf
not a
holy
fan of
holy
that.
heals. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
That
I
would
think-
not be in this game, right? Just to be totally clear, not in this
okay,
cycle,
okay.
but if it
Oh,
ever releases
so like-
again,
Like that's kind of
Um,
like Classic Plus in a way, right? In a
I
way.
don't know. It might be something to keep it fresh. If
I just feel like to me the simplicity and at the same time the simplicity and also the just amazing like what's the other word? What's the opposite of simplicity?
Complexity, yeah.
Complexity. There's the simplicity and complexity to Classic WoW that makes Paladins amazing of what they are. Like I think to change that in essence changes Classic WoW, right? Because everything has its purpose, right? Maybe one class is amazing at PvP and horrible at leveling, and maybe one class is amazing at leveling and amazing at at PvP and sucks at whatever. And I think to disturb that, even if you're using the 1.12 state or whatever, you disturb so many other things that you don't really see that might not have a direct line into that, but at the end of the day you're like, holy shit, I changed this and now the meta of this has changed, now this has changed, and yeah, that could be fun, but then I think at a point it just stops being Classic WoW.
I don't know. I really like no changes, right? So in the perfect
Right.
world, it would have been totally no changes. But I'm just thinking like in 2 years, 4 years, whatever. If we have a new fresh classic server, If you look at what Age of Empires 2 is doing, which is even an older game, they release new balance changes. And let's say the Huns were the best civilization for years in the past. They changed it, and people seem to like it. The game is booming a lot. People are watching it on YouTube. I've been watching it on YouTube. It's one of the bigger games again in the RTS genre. So could it be something for Classic WoW?
They should do its
future?
own server,
Games,
bro.
though, man.
They should do its own thing. If they're gonna do Classic Plus, I would actually want them to compartmentalize that again. I know it's gonna divide the community even more, but preserve vanilla WoW as it is right now. Historical, monumental achievement in gaming. It is what it is. Then they have a Classic Plus server where we can, like, as a community, you know, come together, feedback, balance, do this, like the testing grounds, and we do those types of servers too. If you were to ask me what the next 10 years of WoW would be, selfishly, in my own mind, it would be, we have Classic, then we go TBC, then we go Wrath of the Lich King. Meanwhile, that we're going through that process, retail probably has, like that guy in the chat said a minute ago, 2 more expansions, probably Shadowlands and the next one, you know, Rise of the Furries, right? Then after Rise of the Furries, right? Blizzard, and the reason why I even want retail to be good is kind of selfishly. I may not even play it. It's just the idea that I want to be able to, like, defend the universe that I'm spending all my time in. I'm spending all my time in this universe. I want to be able to hold it down and say, "Nah, Warcraft is great. It's got a great lore, story, characters, universe.
Yeah.
I want to be able to go to bat for it." But right now, going to bat for My Little Pony right here, it is tough. It's tough, man. So, but anyway, after they go through Rise of the Furries, the next one would be they wipe the slate clean. They go, we're gonna double down. We're gonna reinvest millions of dollars into Warcraft. We're going to, it's like just re-release it as World of Warcraft. That's something I wish more games and movies would do, instead of making it like, oh, Diablo 9, Diablo 11, or whatever. Like, just re-release it as the name, World of Warcraft. You know, with like new mechanics, whatever, richer universe, and that happens like 5 years down the line, and then we're in that universe right there. And then
I'd rather see like WoW like try something like, okay, let's do an actual 1.1 start, and like, I don't know, maybe try something like that instead of doing the opposite and doing the Classic Plus. I don't know. I think doing David. But yeah, honestly, when it comes down to it, Cargos, I feel like we have, you know, Classic right now. We have, hopefully, you know, TBC Wrath coming out, and I feel like I understand what you mean with the whole retail thing. Like, you want to be able to believe and be able to defend a game that comes up, but I feel like, man, we got to stick with Classic. Like, Classic is that game.
But it's still the same universe, though. That's the thing, bro. Like, we're playing Warcraft. We're in Azeroth. So, like, and this is for selfish reasons, too. I'm playing Classic. So if I meet some guy on the street, right, and he's like, yo, what do you do, man? Like, oh, I make content. Like, oh, what kind of content you make? Oh, I make World of Warcraft content. I want to be able to say that with a full heart and be like, dude, World of Warcraft is dope. Like, the universe is rich. The characters are great. There's great storylines. It's kind of like Tolkien. It's kind of like high fantasy. My man's like, oh, dope, man. Let me Google it up. And he sees My Little Pony right here. He sees Elsa. He sees a little musical breaking. You know, it's
He's like, damn, I need to get that squeaker mount, man.
It's like, damn, Cargos, you into some weird stuff, bro. Okay, all right. You do you, boo-boo. I don't know, like... Yeah. We need diversity here, man. We need to find the people who, like, really love this, and we need to, like, get in their mind space and understand, who are they making these for? Who are they making the rat mount for? Who's the Vulpera for?
Dude,
It's the collectors, right? It's the people going for all the mounts. I can totally understand why that would be really fun if you already had a good baseline of stuff and you just need, you know, another 100 things or whatever. I would be totally into that. I love collecting in games, and I did that in RuneScape all the time. It's really fun to be a collector, but if you don't have that starting base, how are you supposed to compete?
Okay,
how can you go for all the mounts if you have 0 mounts?
The mount I'm actually on the same page with, as I'm thinking about it, Jerome. Like, because I have, you know, mounts, I could see how you could get into collecting mounts.
I think that would be fun.
The main thing is the Vulpera, though. Like, that one thing, because you're adding a race, like you're unironically adding a race to the world, right? Are they trying to justify the lore of Vulpera and everything? Someone who knows about BFA, talk about that, because that's like another beast. I actually get it with the mount. Have fun with it, collect the mounts. But adding new races and trying to make it canon, how do you guys feel about
that? New races, do they add Vulpera now? Because I thought if they added new races, it was all what's it called, alliances, allied races, which I feel is a really lame thing, by the way. But I don't really mind new races, but I don't care, honestly. If it's a cool race, it's really cool. like high elves maybe or something like that.
DJ Inuk says adding new races is just to give you something else to do. And what I would say to that is that never try to stop people from being bored or add functionality to the game at the expense of the integrity of your universe.
Yeah.
The integrity of your universe and preserving the cohesiveness and lore and richness, that is untouchable, number one, S tier. Do not mess with that, because if you mess with that, you're going to kill people's immersion. If someone's bored, imagine if Tolkien's alive or something, right? And they have Lord of the Rings universe, and they're like, dude, we want a new race, and Lord of the Rings, man, it's boring, dude. There's just dwarves and humans. Like, we need something else, man. Let's get some little furry animals walking around or something. Tolkien would be like, dude, the door's right there, man. There's other universes to invest in. Like I'm not gonna add a furry to the universe because you're bored, bro. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, 100% agree, man. 100%. And there comes a time where you have to like tell people no, and like that's okay. I feel like Blizzard now tries to make every little group happy, and that's the problem. They want to make this person happy, they want to make that person happy, and at the end of the day, you're pissing off more people than you're making happy, right?
I don't think they are trying to make every group happy, honestly. I think they're trying to make as much money as possible, and they kind of disguise it by
I feel like they offer, they really do try to, like, okay, back in the day, I felt like Blizzard was like more like, no, we're going to keep things this way because that's the way it is. And I felt like over time they gave in more and more to the player base, and a lot of it's our fault. A lot of it's things that we asked for, whether it was summoning stones, whether it was flying mounts, this, that, and the other. I feel like over time Blizzard would just give in more, and I think that's
that was a mistake, right?
Yeah,
I think so too. There was a time that I would say what Blizzard decides that's the perfect thing for the game. And now it's entirely opposite.
Nowadays, you can't say that, yeah.
So I want to respond to one point in particular, because I know whenever you see a comment, usually in chat, there's usually a couple hundred lurkers that kind of feel the same way, right? So, like, someone says, you are a bunch of whiners. First you want Classic, now that you have it, you want to screw it up. If you're fed up with Classic, then go play Retail or go play another game. So I want to respond specifically to that point, just to talk on that. I'm not fed up with Classic. Classic is great. I'm having a really fun time with Classic. I'm not in the AV boat. I'm not grinding. I'm theory crafting. I'm playing weird specs. I'm doing alts. Motivation level is really high with regard to Classic. So not fed up with Classic. And all this, whining is whining. I'm going to agree with you on that point. But it's whining out of love for the universe, because I want to go to bat for the universe. I want to hold it down for Warcraft and be able to go, World of Warcraft is dope. This is why it's dope. The community is great. The story is great. I want to go to bat for it. If that makes sense.
Totally.
So
exactly. I'm not fed up with Classic at all. I'm super happy we have Classic, and I wouldn't want to play anything else right now.
We're kind of is kind of the opposite of that, where we're happy with Classic and we want things to succeed. And I just wanted to read so Doublefish, what I said earlier about it, I think he's right on with this, right? Because like it's like one of the biggest issues in game design today, you can't make everybody happy. If nothing sucks, then nothing seems good by comparison, right? So, and then that kind of plays into what we're talking about now. It's like, at one point, I feel like, if you're a game designer, you have to adhere to a certain amount of guidelines, right? Certain guidelines that you have, and there's certain, like a fucking constitution, what do you call it, right? Certain things that you have to adhere by and say, no matter what happens, we're not going to pass this line or cross this line. And, I feel like it's really hard for game designers and all, because you're always going to have someone not happy with the game, right? There's always going to be someone not happy with this function or not happy with that function. But you have to adhere to, the design that you, in the beginning, set up to be, what you want it to be, what kind of game you want to be. But when you have so much money playing into it, it's so hard, right? Because that you can make probably a shit ton more money by introducing something that might piss off a few people, but it's not going to have a huge, huge implications. And then you keep doing that, you keep doing it to the point where people say, "Fuck it," you know what I mean? I'm done. And then you're adhering to this one group, and they're happy, and then the other, and it creates this split, right? That's what we have now with Classic and Retail. We have this split of people who like a game one way and people who like a game another way. And I'm 100% okay with people liking Retail. I've never, I understand now that's not the game for me. Classic is the game for me. But when we're looking at the future of what Classic can be and looking at the future of other games, you need to fucking have that guideline set, man, and say that we're not going to cross this line. We're not going to do this.
Right. When you see the original WoW World of Warcraft cinematic, and you see the dwarf, and you see on the Iron Forge, right, and you see the orc, he's slicing up. He's getting shot, he's getting resurrected. You see all that? That looks dope. It still looks dope. And that's what we were signing up for, right? So, like, I also see issues potentially of changing art styles down the line, because that's kind of not what people invested and signed up for. But I want to ask you guys very honestly in the chat. I know a lot of you guys like our content. It doesn't mean you have to agree with everything we say, right? We're all humans. Everybody's entitled to opinion. But I also think that the majority of people... Oh, man. This is... okay. I'm trying to... Okay. I think the majority of people like the new art style of WoW. What do you guys? I mean, so when I'm talking, let me just pull it up again. So we're
majority. You mean the majority of people in our?
I'm just saying. Will reward you. Let me pull it up again. Where is it again, dude? Is this it? I'll just play this, dude. This is fine. This art style or whatever. Whatever you want to call it, kind of the more, how do you want to call it? Like kind of just the more the cutesy art style, cartoony, like more that. I feel like we're in the minority. Is that true? Like, what do you guys think? Do you think people really enjoy it? Like, if you like it, just be honest. Like, if you love it, you know, as opposed to, you know, let me see.
I'm gonna be frankly honest. It's pretty obviously a fetish thing. I can't get behind it, but you know, I can see how other people might.
You think it's a fetish thing? That's real. Yo, Jerome's a real one, dude. Jerome spits that hard facts, dude. You think it's a fetish thing? It could be. I'm not even joking. I don't know, but it's for kids though. No, that's big yikes. I don't know, man.
WoW has always been cartoony in a way. Definitely, WoW has always been cartoony in a way, but I feel much more of a. So I feel like WoW in the older days was more of a hard style cartoon. Like it was more of, you know, things looked, you know, maybe not the best, but they were. It was a cartoony style that I actually kind of liked, right, with Classic. And Cargos, you always said it best when you look at a picture. It almost looks like an oil painting. Things have a totally different, you know, adherence to it. And I feel like they've kind of went forward and kind of really shot down that cartoony style and kind of made it a little bit more soft style. I don't know how
you have the best video I ever saw on this topic, Def Camp. You and Melderon made a video on there. You remember that when you made that? It was like years ago now.
Yeah, I got a lot of hate on that video.
But it was fire, dude. That video was fire. Yeah. It didn't come. It like was speaking the words inside my brains better than I could ever do it. And they were basically saying that yes, WoW is always cartoony, right? But not all cartoons are created equal. The way that they made the cartoons. It's night and day. You can take the models way more seriously. The orcs look kind of badass. Like, yeah, you have gnomes. The gnomes are always like kind of an X factor there, but they made the cartoon still pretty badass in a way. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, I have the slide up right now. Right now we're kind of over here with the pretty orcs with the eyelashes and stuff. This is the polar end of the extreme, right? This is like Warhammer 40K. When I say no, that's Warcraft. That's got to be some fan art for Warcraft. I mean. That might be a little bit too gritty for people. You know, that might be a little bit too hyper-realistic for people that work on the right, because maybe the game wouldn't age that well if it was like that, right? We saw games not age that well if they, yeah, he's got Gorehowl, right? Dual-wielding Gorehowl, but something a little bit closer to that, like more Magic the Gathering, D&D, Warhammer 40K, something like that. If you were 11 years old right now, if you can remember back in your brain, as you're 11 years old, I think I would still feel the same way, man. Not that much has changed since I'm 11, man. I'm still a man-child. I don't think I'm ever liking this cutesy stuff, man. I really do not think so.
I'm gonna say this. If you look at just the zones in BFA, for example, for like the Alliance City, that looks pretty badass to me. I do like most of the zones in Wrath of the Lich King better, but the main city in BFA for Alliance, that's to me that's really something they did well. I don't like those furry things though. I thought they learned from pandas. That was kind of a disaster, and then they had this, so I don't really see why that was needed. But probably it sells good with I don't know, maybe people like to pay for it.
Yeah, I mean, some people have said like we ever play WoW for the immersion. Someone said that, right? I actually am nerdy enough to play WoW for the immersion a little bit. You know, when I actually make an Orc Hunter, I buy it, dude. I think it's badass. I do. I'm gonna just straight up say it. Like, I think it's dope that you get a pet and you're just out there. You spawn in the world. You have a little shitty bow and a little shanker, and you're just out there with the loincloth, and you have to like just. You know, I think that's cool. Like, you know, I'm not scared to say that. I think that is really cool, and I buy into the lore with Dunedain. I assume you actually want to be like a wielder of the holy light. You want to be like a badass paladin right there, just you know, just like Lord of the Rings. and high fantasy is cool. It's cool. It's something that
Yeah.
people like, and you can take
It's
pride
the
in.
first thing I think about if I choose a class. It's the first thing I think about. How does the fantasy play out? What is the fantasy of the class? How do I see myself in the game? And that's what I base my class choice on. So obviously I
Yeah.
care about how it looks and the immersion and all that stuff.
And I've always wanted to be 15 people stacked on top of each other. So it's a lifelong goal. So.
Yo, what is okay? On a lighter note, Jerome, what is your class fantasy that appeals you to the most? Or maybe you're not into it at all. I'm not sure.
I would be
All the
honest.
classes.
I never was able. I was never able to get into the orc hunters because they're a little too distracted. The female hunters are beautiful. You know, the female orc hunters. There's just something about them. I can't get 5 minutes into the game without having to take a break. If you know what I mean. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I think undead are kind of like my favorite.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But I don't know. I made trolls for some reason. You know, I didn't have you guys to tell me that. Oh, you shouldn't make troll mages. You know, so
Hey,
here
man,
I
you
am.
do
With,
what you want,
big,
brother.
big pumper in PvE, man. What about class wise though? Is it mage? Is it the magus?
I gotta say priests. I mean, priests are like right
Yeah.
now. Priests look so damn good with the holy
Fucking
nova.
A,
Oh my
dude.
god.
Yes. He's amazing, my man.
I
I
think
wish I had 40 priests right now. My god,
Oh,
the server would
dude,
crash
40
if I started
priests.
casting. It'd be amazing.
It'd be
so.
fucking
You
awesome,
you
my
play
man.
Horde, right, Jerome?
Oh yeah, horde.
So I'm in my minority here, but I think that's kind of interesting because I like pretty looks from characters. I like pretty zones. I like pretty things in
Mhm.
WoW, and I don't like the furry things from retail. So there's a clearer line between what I think pretty and nice in classic WoW and what Blizzard considers to be pretty nice in retail. They obviously went way too far, but I think they can add like pretty nice and cute things in classic WoW without being Disney-like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I have a
one-
question.
one
I
for
want to
that.
ask you guys, and this doesn't really play too much on, but I always wondered, right? Because I see a lot of streamers, and they'll have their graphics turned all the way up,
hmm
and I have always been I prefer the classic style, the classic setting, right?
Even the classic lava.
Yes, I prefer
Oh
the
man,
classic
now
lava.
you're a purist, dude. You like the 1 pixel lava. Okay.
Classic
Damn, that
water.
Microsoft Paint lava looks
Water.
damn fine.
So this is why, though,
It
right?
looks
This is why
damn
it's a big.
fine,
I'm a big believer in aesthetics and like, you know, when I log into retail and I see the high quality water and the high quality plants and all that, I'm a person that 100% believes like that fauna and all that kind of shit has a huge effect on me when I play the game, right? It brings that level of it just brings something with it. So when I log into Classic, I want to see that clear cut difference, right? I want to see the fucking there's no flowers, the water that looks. I love the Classic water. I hate the retail style water. It looks like a fucking mirror or something. And it's that what the fuck's that word? There's a word that I'm trying to think of, but it's that it brings with me what Classic is, right? So when I log into Classic, I need to feel those lower quality graphics because to me that is Classic, right? So how many of you guys play with those graphics turned up or graphics turned down? The immersion, yes. Thank you, Peace
Yeah.
House. Yeah.
I've my graphics all turned up except for the water. So everything is on max. So I have the high foliage on the ground, but the water, I understand what you're saying.
To me,
not
it's
the
everything.
same.
It's the flower. I hate that really when you
dense
turn
foliage?
the foliage up. I hate that, right? Because you can, I mean, if you have that shit up and you don't have the players' names on, gnomes and shit, you won't even be able to see them because the grass is taller than the gnomes. You got gnomes
true.
and shit rolling around in the grass. You don't even see them. You can have a shaman
It's
that
kind
goes
of
over.
funny though.
It is funny, right? But like, I love that old style. It brings so much of the nostalgia with me as well. To see the graphics the way they were.
I can see both sides, honestly. I love the old style. I like the new style. I saw someone in chat talking about Mists of Pandaria, which is now lately being looked at as one of the better expansions. And Mists of Pandaria has those really cozy and nice zones, in my opinion. I like the atmosphere in Mists. Many people hate it. I don't think Pandas is the reason Mist is good. Not at all. Mist has some good content, but I like how the zones are designed. So I do like pretty things in WoW too. I don't know. I think it's possible to do it without doing it like they are doing it now.
For me, dude, it would be if I could go back and rewrite history. This is the races, bro. I'm kind of sold on the blood elves, dude. There needs to be blood elves. in the universe.
Blood
Actually,
Yeah, we
I'm
need those
sold.
blood elves. You know why too?
You see,
Oh.
you see them in the cinematic, right? Like the blood elves are kind of there in vanilla. They serve a purpose. They are kind of the more dainty elves, right? Because the night elves,
So not
if you
horde,
look at the
though,
night
dude.
elves, the night elves are absolute units, dude. They're jacked. They're absolute chads. Like they have the bulldog face. They're jacked. They're like ball players. You know what I'm saying? Like the blood elves are not like that. They don't have as high T levels, but they still deserve their place in the world because they're more like magical than the night elves, and they're kind of different from the night elves. Like the style, the architecture. For me though, no Draenei though. I would have no Draenei. I would just have blood elf,
I'm
Draenei.
saying,
blood
here's the
elf,
thing,
dwarf, human. I wouldn't have gnome. I would actually just, if I could rewrite history, no gnome, dwarf.
You know what? I'm
human,
on board.
dwarf, troll.
Fuck the gnomes, okay? The gnomes are weird. They're creepy. They're really creepy, honestly. I hate them. They kill me all the time. You get rid of the gnomes,
Dude, get
and
rid
I'll
of
be
the
happy.
gnomes. No Draenei, no gnomes. That's it. It's like orcs versus
Nah.
humans. We got the trolls. We got the elves. We got the two different types of elves.
But
That
the,
would
the,
be fire.
the elves. Okay, here's the thing with the elves. Like, I agree, they're evil, whatever. Like, and you know what you said, Doublefish. But like, you have Tauren, you have orc, you have undead, and you have troll. You have these nasty, like, just misfits and all this, and then you have blood elves. So they just that.
Maybe they should be on the alliance.
The way
Then,
you
though,
put
Def
it.
Camp. What if they're on the alliance?
No, they are definitely horde.
definitely
They're
horde?
evil.
Are they
Yeah,
evil?
it's just
they are
okay.
evil.
Like in BC when they came out, I'll admit I wanted to play a fucking night elf because first of all, I'm like, oh, they have an amazing fucking racial, right? Their racials are absolutely insane. You know, to have an AOE silence is just so fucking good. And part of me felt like, oh, it's the only class in the horde now that actually kind of looks like a human, right? But that to me is a big reason why to play horde because you have all these races that are just so, you know, you judge them because of their looks, and then but there's something totally different. Like I love the orc, the undead. They just that to me screamed the misfits, right? And then now all of a sudden you got fucking blood elves too.
Blood
And I
elves.
understand they are misfits too. I know they are double.
They
but
use
to
different
me,
kinds
it's
of
just-
magic though. Like they fulfill different things for elves. Like you need it's another elf. Like the night elves, for example, right? They use more like a loon magic or whatever, moon magic.
Yeah.
They're not using like the arcane and fires. Like I don't think night elves casting
No,
fireballs.
they
and stuff, you know
banned
what I'm saying?
they banned arcane magic. That's why
The blood elves are more arcane fire,
Yes,
you know,
they
stuff
are,
like that.
yeah,
The
yeah.
the night elves are using the moon magic.
Mhm.
So,
It's more stars and moon. The chat is killing me because I said horde is evil, but let's
No, the
agree
Alliance
that
are evil.
horde. Well,
They
yeah,
put
I guess
Amp-
there's a point to be made for both. But
Yeah.
if you compare it to Tolkien, then Alliance is definitely the good side and horde is the bad side.
Well, that's
No,
why I
no, no, no,
originally
The
started
gnomes are
playing
evil.
Alliance.
We all know it. The
Oh, they
gnomes
are,
are
dude.
absolutely
the
evil.
gnomes are evil. Little ankle
They're strapping
biters.
bombs to their chest
Oh,
and
yeah.
shit, you know? Yeah.
I
never-
do strongly disagree though with what you said about Draenei because I really like how they look and I like the Draenei in the Blood Elf, not the Blood Elf, the Draenei in the TBC cinematic.
Okay, the guy in the cinematic
in-
looks cool, but here's the thing about the difference between Draenei and Blood Elves, right? So the Draenei in Classic, they look kind of cool too. You know they have Draenei in Classic, right?
The broken.
Yeah,
the
they're broken. Those guys look kind of cool to me. Like they look a little ate up.
Yeah.
They look a little
Like,
bit sad.
"Ah."
That's kind of cool. And so I mean, but all right. Here's the thing about Draenei though. They're space though. Blood Elves aren't space related. The Draenei have like I feel like I'm playing Halo. Like they're coming down in drop pods and stuff. Like they're an orbital drop shock trooper or something. They have Naru, the spaceships, all that stuff. The Blood Elves don't have space related to them, right?
No.
So
Well,
once you get Draenei in the picture, then you're dealing with space. Is my point.
yeah.
I feel like I need to
goats,
protect
yeah.
the gnomes a little bit too, being the only alliance here.
God.
I don't really particularly love gnomes or whatever, but I think they add something to the world, being those little tiny small characters. It's kind of unique, which I like.
They're kind of like hobbits in a way.
I guess so. That's why I have one called Samwise, I guess.
Yep.
But I do dislike the whole engineering and mechanical side of the gnome, though. That's something I think World of Warcraft could have been without that too. Do we
Yeah.
need those machineries and stuff?
That's one thing. Let's discuss, guys. Gnome architecture, gnome engineering. Here's the thing about that, right? So, that's one of the most unique aspects of Warcraft, right? If gnomes were hobbits, it would look very similar to Tolkien. Right?
Yeah.
In that universe, I would actually prefer that because I kind of want the token universe as much as possible. I can take a Hobbit more seriously than I can take a gnome. It's not even that the way they look. It's more of the inventions and stuff. Like once you have gnomes, anything are possible. You can just make a.
I hate
You
their
can just make a
mount, dude.
portal. You can just make a shotgun. You can make a. You know,
Mecha,
just
mecha
weird,
god
you
glider,
know, yeah, exactly. You can make weird
yeah.
stuff, right? The hobbits is like the Shire and like Low-Tech.
Yeah,
right?
they're all
So-
very nature. Yeah.
But with
yeah.
that said, the gnomes are probably the thing that makes Warcraft the most unique comparatively to other high fantasy universes because you have this like X factor of like you know crazy engineering and stuff.
Oh, and the goblins too. You know, goblins are engineer, even though they're not a playable class or playable race until what was it, Cataclysm, right?
Yeah. Though I feel goblins are kind of different. They are more like merchants in Classic,
Yeah.
and gnomes are more like the engineers side of things. I don't know.
You have goblins who make like zeppelins, and they also, you know, you have goblin
True.
engineering and stuff like that. So I was never a fan of that. Like I would rather see WoW, and it's kind of like I think, you know, if I was a hunter, I always would rather have a bow than a gun. I think, unless I'm
definitely. I don't like playing a hunter with the gun at all.
Yeah.
I do like the cinematic a lot with the dwarf and the gun and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But if I play a hunter, it's always with a bow. But I do like the goblin black market style thing, and it feels that's something I like. But the gnome architecture, I feel like I need to protect them a little bit because it's unique and stuff.
Oh, their voice, dude. Their voice. We're the Alliance. Like,
it's kind of nice to throw a snowball at a gnome too. So for that reason, they can stay in the game, right?
Yeah, it's really fun to kick them around, just punt them like a football. You know, just they go flying through the air. It's fantastic. That's the best thing about gnomes.
Yo, can I ask something to the chat? I mean, let me see what you guys think. Old models versus new models. Okay, I'm not gonna try and bias them in any way. And if you're gonna say something, like trying to add something a little more value, like say which model you like more or less or whatever, because with regard to gnomes, the new gnomes.
Oh, I hate
look like
both.
they all
Benjamin
have,
Button, dude.
they all look like they're Benjamin Button.
It's revolting to look at.
Their skin
Get the
is
bald
all.
one, dude. Get that bald one up. Yeah.
Where's the bald gnome?
Oh,
What's wrong with
right.
this one?
Oh, that's the worst.
I'm having flashbacks.
What is this, bro? Oh my.
Oh my god.
Hold on.
So it's not necessarily that the new model is bad, in my opinion. It's more like that you cannot really distinguish between the newer models. If you play Alliance on BFA and you look at the character in the distance, you can't really see what class it is because they kind of look the same. That's what I dislike.
What is that?
I mean, this kind of looks kind of borderline better than the other gnome. Like the standard gnome face is the stuff of nightmares. If you were to see it on the model viewer, so like, this kind of looks better than the regular gnomes. Gnome models.
It's the mecha gnome.
Dude, this might be it. Let me see.
Just pull up the game and do it yourself.
Oh, character creation. Dwarves
I will
actually
say
look
this. You know, I think the original classes of Classic WoW were you know, excluding the gnomes. And you know, a race that really grew on me is dwarfs. I fucking love dwarfs now. I really do. I think dwarfs are awesome.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah, dwarves are awesome.
Yeah.
There we go.
They
go.
are.
Oh, yikes, dude.
God.
Oh, yikes.
You know why dwarves are so awesome? They all remind me of Torbjorn in Overwatch, and he's my favorite.
Yeah.
It's just Gimli. You see Gimli.
Oh,
and
look at
you're
that.
Oh
happy.
yeah.
Yo, my man looks
Oh, these gnomes are
absolutely
disgusting.
Oh my god.
ate up.
Oh.
This guy
Benjamin
is chopped
Button.
liver.
Look at his face. It looks like he's dying. Like
This is
what?
what
Greckler's he's getting half-mast right now, and it's just disgusting to look at this.
For a second, I thought that was the new mount, the new rat mount. I was like, what is? Oh my god, dude! Who
Is that Squeakers, the new mount?
It's Squeakers, yeah. So the meth.
It does look like
faces.
Dolly from Harry Potter. You're right. We need to get. I got a sock for him. He's free. He's finally free.
It's kind of an insult to Dobby, though.
I love my my dwarf's face. He's got that. I don't know if I can't pull it up right now, but it's fucking great.
Oh my god. Wait, what do people say? People like the new models? Is there any new model that's better than the old models?
So, like I said, I don't think the new models are necessarily bad. If you zoom in on them, they're not necessarily bad.
All right, let me see. Let me zoom in on them. Let me start.
Well,
Troll.
probably not this one.
Keep zooming in on this one.
Dude, look at this.
I think the old orcs are way better. I think the old undead are way better. I think the old human are way better. I like all the old. I'm sorry, I like all the old.
The old just brings some nostalgia too, but if
Not
you
only
just
I hate the new human. I really hate.
If
the
I had
new
to pick
Baron.
one word
Oh
to
my
describe the new
God.
models. New models. What's the first word that comes to your mind when you think about the new models in general? Like,
Lame.
I have one. Lame. Mine's goofy.
Yeah.
For some reason, they like made them all goofy.
Yes,
Like,
dude. Look at the Tarn. The new Tarn looks so
Tarn?
bad.
it's
It
goofy.
looks
gotta
so
see
bad.
this.
Yeah.
well, how do I put it? Not unique.
That doesn't look
Kind of
too
look the
bad.
same.
The new Tarn look almost like they're like, hi there. It's just like
Soulless is
yeah.
good.
The female human doesn't look that goofy right here. I don't know. I never really made a female character, so I couldn't tell you. They kind of got bug eyes though. What's going on with those eyes? Let me see. The dwarf. That looks like an absolute manlet.
I love the old dwarf, dude. With that really fake, like, oh, hi there.
I gotta freeze frame
Give me a
that for
kiss.
second.
Have you ever looked from the underside of a dwarf at like their beard and their face as they're running? Oh my god.
Oh,
It's
it's
still
great.
nightmares.
Yeah,
It's
you gotta
amazing.
see my dwarf's face. It's beautiful.
Oh,
beautiful.
in game with porridge? You talking
Yeah,
about porridge?
Yeah.
He's got the crazy eyes on the dwarf. You guys all know the face, right? Have you guys seen that face?
Hold on,
my
I
God,
can
it's
link
the
it to you.
funniest-
I can
that's
link it
the
to you. Hold
funniest
on.
face, man.
Here. I'm gonna link it to you, Cargos. You can put it in there.
Okay,
one
all
sec,
right.
hold
Let me
on.
see. Let me see. Send me a screenshot. Or something.
Here it goes. Right.
I don't know, man.
All right. I just put it in our Discord chat.
Let's see. Good.
It's like, give me a
Absolute
kiss.
Chad, Copy link. This is it right here. This is dwarves.
That's
This is Def Camp's new character, guys.
Give me a kiss, lass.
He's got the crazy
Oh my
eyes,
God.
man. He's got the crazy. It's not even the eyes though. It's the teeth.
It's
I'm
the
telling
teeth.
you.
I know it's the teeth. Oh, I'm beautiful, aren't I?
They put the person who made
Imagine
the
seeing
lava
that in
on
the
this
dark
face,
alley, yeah.
right? It's just-
You see that in the dark alley in Iron Forge.
gotta
I don't know
zoom
what
in,
you do.
He's like, hey there, you got pretty face, don't ya?
Imagine waking up in the middle of the night. You see this face looking down at you.
Oh, fuck, you just zoomed in. What the hell is that?
What? Oh there, lassie. How are you?
Oh my
Come here,
God.
Cargos. Give me a kiss.
Dude, I hope you make this your main, dude. This is too funny.
I know.
bro.
Right? That's porridge right there.
That's porridge right there.
Porridge.
The funniest thing is that it still looks better than any gnome in the game.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it does. Yep.
Ah, poor
Oh,
gnomes.
North's in here. What's up, North? What's up, brother? He's in the Twitch. Shout out to the god. The new models
What's
look
up,
like
dude?
a phenomenal uncanny valley.
You got pretty lips.
Oh man.
Oh god. No, I will never. I will always have him not showing a helmet. He will always have his face. Yeah. Kind of interested in a pint. It might be tainted, but here you go. Oh man.
Why is it not your super plate brother character? Would it be
No, that's
cool?
not my super play. My super play character is a human.
I know.
Yeah.
So what are you guys? What's your plans going forward, Jerome? Man, you playing classic now? You having a good time? It seems like you were D-ranking the other day.
Yeah, so I've D-ranked all my characters down to Scout, and anybody that wants a free D-ranking on Fairlina, I'll D right now, 14-0 if you want, all the way down. And yeah,
Oh,
I just keep
shit.
making more characters. We're gonna try to get to 40 eventually, because that's what. If you're not at 40, all their multi-boxers judge you, and they call you a baby multi-boxer. So you don't want to be under 40.
Are there guys with 40 right now?
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of people working on 40.
Smokes. That's insane.
I don't think any are 60 yet, but they're all working on it. So I got to get to 40 so they don't make fun of me anymore.
Damn, dude.
And right now I think we're gonna be at 19 next week. So they're all like 50 plus.
Wow. That's crazy.
So are you gonna raid, and is it planned to like solo raid content? Or like,
So I've got a couple guilds that I might try to pug with, maybe run 10 at a time or something, and just steal all the gear, which will be pretty funny. Just take all of it, just every roll will just be mine. So sure, everyone will completely hate me.
Oh,
man.
dude. Oh man, I just keep looking at that dwarf's face. I was.
Dude, we gotta do some streams that can do a leveling or something.
Yeah,
Something fun.
I'm down, man. I'm down. I gotta get back into it, guys. I know. I'm sorry.
Wait a minute. What if you multi-boxed a bunch of dwarves that looked exactly like that?
Oh, that would be fucking
Stuff of
awesome,
that-
dude.
Oh, what would be? Oh my god, dude, that's the
All
stuff I'm not even
rogues, right? We'll
thinking
just
about it.
ambush everyone. Just like multi-boxing ambush rogues.
That would be insane, dude. That would be
pretty
insane.
bad. Yeah. I actually never, I always thought about multi-boxing. Like, how hard is it to set up and all?
It's easy to set up. I've been told by other multi-boxers that are in the chat right now that I have the worst setup of any multi-boxer, and I'm still able to somewhat play. So, I think you can definitely pull it off. You'll probably already be better than I am. The software is easy to use. It's honestly not hard to set up. Getting good at it is the hard part. All the macros. You've got to have so many different macros, right? Everything from like trading water to your guys, just like all these really elaborate macros you got to have. But
Right,
I mean, the basics are easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trading water macro.
Oh no, trading water with between all your characters, because you don't want to
I see,
actually
I
manually
see.
do that.
Okay, makes sense.
How has it been streaming though? You're streaming on a PvP server, multi-boxing. Isn't it so easy to get fucked with though?
Oh yeah, but I mean that's just part of the fun. You just gotta, if you don't look at it negatively, it just adds to the stream, really.
What is the worst thing that's happened to you so far?
I've been camped at the same spot for an hour. Like you use your Hearthstones and then you just get camped for an hour.
Damn.
But that's all in good fun, right? Usually people enjoy that, and most of the people doing it are watching, so you get extra viewers, and most of those people have become friends and stuff. So it's all worked out really well.
Jerome is the one who does the fucking with? Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, how do you... Yeah, at the same time, you're going up against 15 Blast Wave mages. How do you even approch that? Like, what's
Have you ever
game?
Honestly,
other,
one blizzard does pretty good. Like one blizzard is all it really takes. Far enough away. My blitz macros need some work.
Is Kryptonite exposed?
Have you ever dueled
Oh,
other multi-boxers? I think that.
Oh yeah, there's a 10-man warlock multi-boxer on Fairlena, and he always tries to go at me, and we have a lot of fun together. So.
That sounds awesome, dude.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
love to see that. Yeah.
And I think all the other multi-boxers are coming to Fairlena too. We're all just gonna meet up together, and so if anybody wants to multi-box, definitely make an account on Fairlena. That would be what I'm saying. Like get all your
10.
characters over there.
I would
And we'll
like
just
to
have
see
giant
it's like
battles.
15 paladins bubble hearting at the same time.
I have a story about that. I swear to God, a month into the game, there was a 5-man level 60 paladin setup, and I saw them one time, never saw them again. So either they're perma banned or they have like 10 million gold right now. One of the two. But I don't know where they are. I don't know what they're doing, but I saw them. I swear.
20-man shaman multi-boxer on Fairlena, dude, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, there's a 10-man right now, and he wrecks. I'm gonna be honest, his setup is a little bit better than mine now. He just destroys.
Is he Ellie? Ellie, right?
I think so. He just nukes people down really fast.
Dude.
And he's got all these macros and stuff.
Yeah, Dunedain's PvP montage, guys. If you haven't seen it yet, let's get a link for that real quick. It is literally the best PvP montage I have ever seen in my entire life. No lie.
I can only say it's a lot of fun making it.
It's like there's nothing better in the world than this. Trying to find the link. Hold on.
I linked it.
Oh, okay, you did. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is, right there, guys. If you haven't seen it, you got to check it out. The best fucking,
the most action-packed Pally
yeah.
PvP. So I just want to go back to the the topics about classic retail. After you usually rage out on something or you speak your mind on something, you feel a little bit bad afterwards. Like, so I just want to get it out there. Like, not a single thing could change from this point on. They may never come out with TBC. They may never come up with Classic Plus. We can just stay on this current path right now, and I'm happy, man. I'm pretty much happy. Yeah, I'll probably play other games at some point too, but we have Classic WoW. We can always come back to it. I find a lot of comfort in that fact that Classic's official now. It's not going anywhere, and we're living in that.
That feels
in that
good.
era now.
That feels so good. We've waited so long. We have been doing this for a year before, like half a year or more before it came out. Just that wait, which was actually a good period too. Honestly,
it was.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Just talking about it, really fun too.
Here's the thing too. Like some people, I've noticed people say this before. Some people want to move on, right? And some people like to live in the past or whatever, right? I found for myself at least, I don't mind living in the past. I find nostalgia like very, very comforting, and the older I'm getting, I'm actually a little bit more hesitant to change. It's like or whatever. So like I actually don't mind living in the past, playing old games, having this community, and it's really cool.
I feel you, man.
Yeah, you feel
That's one of the first times I think probably all of you are like that, because many of my friends and many people I meet, they don't really see why I play an old game over and over again. And basically all I do is play old games. I play WoW, I play Crash Team Racing, I play Age of Mythology, I play all those old games.
Yeah.
I can't see myself playing a new game anymore.
It's like investing in new
what do you
IPs
say?
too. Like
you need to learn them again and stuff.
Yeah.
This is really relaxing and comforting, like you say.
It may seem really sad, but like if I could probably play classic WoW like for the rest of my life. I could probably just like on and on. Like it's.
I've thought about that, dude. Like being 50 playing classic WoW. Like I was like, fuck, dude. Yeah, why not?
I mean, I might. Take
I wonder why it is though.
Come back because it's very comforting, at least for me. Like leveling, going through the Barrens as a level 15 or something is absolutely the closest thing to therapy. I've never seen a therapist before. So I don't know what that's like. But
exactly.
It's very, very nostalgic, comforting. It just reminds me of a different reality many moons ago, and while I'm raging on about retail and saying, hey man, I hope they fix retail, the main sort of incentive for me to want them to fix retail is selfishly just so Warcraft is kind of like cooler and like more like it's not like I'm even dying to go play it. Like I'm fine with classic WoW, you know what I'm saying? Like but I do wish Warcraft could be a defensible fantasy universe that I could be proud to support and engage in, participate in with Azeroth and all that. So, dude, nothing else could change. It'd be fun.
I think we should probably see it as a universe we can be proud of, and just keep with the old universe, like the old classic WoW. Forget the new one. Be proud of what we have. Be proud of classic WoW, of vanilla WoW.
And Shadowlands gonna come out, guys. This Azeroth patch is out. Blizzard doesn't seem like they're communicating all that much. It seems like that they're put classic kind of on the back burner for whatever reason, because they have Shadowlands coming out, they're doing stuff. So we got to double down, guys, and be strong together as a community. And what does your brother always say, Def Camp? You said be a good WoW ambassador.
WoW ambassador, yep.
Right.
That's so true, man.
Big Papa Melderon said that. Be a good WoW ambassador, and I will say it again because it really is true. We will look back on 2020, 2019, the year that Classic WoW came out with, and it almost as nostalgically, if not more nostalgically than the original vanilla. Because now we're grown-ass men and women playing this game. Like, it's different from when you're a little kid, you can't appreciate it. Like, this will be an era in and of itself. Classic will come and go, and, nothing is forever, right? We will look back on these years super fondly, so just relish in it, dude. Soak it all in, embrace it, man. Like every last.
And have fun with it too. I know a lot of people in Classic, they're just min-maxing, they're just raid logging. Just do something fun. Just think of something and do it. Make a new account, make a new character, do whatever you want to do. Just fuck around, just do whatever you want. No one's gonna stop you. Blizzard's not. I don't know. Everything's good. Just do whatever you want.
So true. We will look back
at so nice, yeah.
We will look back and see that we were actually part of something really special in the gaming community. A remake of one of the biggest games ever. We were there at the start.
You don't know what you have till it's gone, right? It's human conditions, human nature. So like once this is gone, you may feel demotivated right now, like, oh, I don't want to play, dude. The game's boring. I've played it a lot. But what if it wasn't a thing? You'd be like, oh shit, I can't play that anymore. Like you would miss it, So we're gonna miss doing GMAs eventually when this all goes away.
We're never gonna stop.
We don't stop, man.
Yeah.
We are here in 20 years.
Yep, absolutely.
Talking about how we want Classic to be like whatever.
Bring Classic back again.
Make Classic good again. After all the Classic Plus changes they made.
Yeah, right. I don't know, man. I still have a shitload of fun playing this game, and I know I always will. And I'm just grateful for the fact that we actually, sometimes you gotta think, we're actually able to play Classic WoW right now. How fucking amazing.
It honestly is the social fabric that keeps all of our friendships alive. I wouldn't be talking with Jerome. I wouldn't have met this guy. Now I have a new friend. Def Camp, your brother, doing a day in BlizzCon. If Classic WoW were to stop being a thing right now, if the lights got turned off and it was no longer a thing, World of Warcraft wasn't a thing, 99% likelihood, everyone would just drift apart like everything else in life. You know, you kind of need that thing that brings that common interest. You really do, in order to maintain the friendships. You know, especially when everyone is in different spots and stuff. You guys have seen it in your own life, right? How many of you are still friends with your childhood friends you grew up with? You know, going to middle school and high school. You may be friends, but you're all living in different states and countries now. You know, it's a whole. It's different. So, I guess my point is, I'm very thankful to be alive in 2020 and still playing. And
I'm thankful. I'm thankful I can do this thing with you. I'm thankful I have this guild, which is like a little family. Don't you feel like if something happens and you want to tell it to your guild, tell it to you guys? It's amazing, isn't it? We never met in real life, and still,
like you know,
like
I plan on fucking. I'm sorry, guys.
It feels like family. It feels like you know each other for so long. It's insane. But it's all because of World of Warcraft, which is the common thing here. Exactly. And you need something like that. You need something like that with your old friends too, to keep coming back and keep.
Let me ask you something.
Keep seeing them. Yeah.
Would you be sad? Stream wake up. I know we're being a little sentimental, but would you guys be sad if retail WoW was, imagine they take everything we say here to heart and they literally retail WoW no longer exists and it's just classic, as World of Warcraft. Would you be sad? Would you be happy? How would you feel about that? How would you feel about that? Think about it.
Feel about if what?
If retail, TFA, Shadowlands, all of that, they're like, okay, no, you're kind of right. You guys are making some good points. We're just gonna not do it anymore. I mean,
honestly,
I guess I would feel a little bit sad, honestly. Listen, there's a certain point in time where I started to think of Warlords of Draenor as something that wasn't that bad after all. You know what I mean? So there's a certain point in time where also Cataclysm feels like it wasn't that bad and you wanted to try it again. And as long as new things keep coming out, there's always something you can potentially miss in the future. So in that sense, I would miss retail actually stopping. That wasn't right English, but I guess you know what I mean.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it would have.
It wouldn't affect you at all,
right? Yeah. If retail were to just stop.
Just stop. I think the reason why I'm bringing it up is I'm sort of low-key appreciative that it exists in the background at this point. It existed it's like, oh, there's still new stuff coming out with regard to WoW. Like it's still this kind of background noise. Oh, a new expansion came out. WoW is still out there in the mainstream, But at the same time, I get, it upsets me when I see Volpera and stuff like that. But it would be. Part of me would feel a little bit sad that if it was.
It's still the number one MMO out right now. That's to put in perspective. It's still the most played MMO right now.
I think I took the wrong example. I shouldn't have said what is something I would want to play again. It was a bad example. I'm sorry for that. Let's make it Mists of Pandaria instead.
But I mean, this game, right? It's brought so much of us together. To get back on that, and I think the fact that such a social game where you meet people. I've got to meet Cargos on multiple times now. I've got to hopefully meet Dunedain. Once me and my brother are going to plan a trip to go over to Europe. Got to meet so many amazing people. I mean, what other fucking game brings people together like Classic WoW?
I've never been part of any gaming community like this. First time for me.
Mm-hmm. Same.
But yeah, let's start wrapping up here, guys. If you have any final thoughts, I want to first of all, Jerome, man. Thank you so much for being here, bro. I want to get your channels out there as much as possible to everybody. Sorry if we ate up the airspace.
All right, thank you so much for having me. You guys are really cool. You're all legends, and I've been watching your content for a long damn time now.
A long damn time.
Well, you're a legend yourself, man, as well. So you guys got to go check him out over on Twitch. I'll put his here it is again. There's his
Twitch. I'm gonna put his YouTube here.
Twitch,
He is one of the hottest stocks in the content game right now. For sure. You go visit his stream, dude, you're gonna be feeling really damn good, as he says. Dude.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's like, and here's the thing, right? You watch certain streamers and it's like, okay, this person's doing this person's doing that. You watch NoHitJerome and it's something completely different, right? That right there is so refreshing to see someone doing something different, having fun, you know, just the way that he likes to have fun. That's fucking awesome.
Hell yeah. Any final parting words for the people, everyone?
You know me, just keep on binding and grinding.
I knew you were going to say that. Just enjoy the game. Don't overthink it like we do sometimes. Just
Yeah,
play,
right.
have fun, enjoy with your guild, and yeah, enjoy the time.
I would say definitely check out the multiboxing community. A lot of really helpful people. They're going to be helping me real soon to fix my terrible setup. So definitely check those people out, like Skid Show, Farmer True, Brano, all those people. They're all really, really good and really smart people. And yeah, they're all really nice too. They've been super, super nice to me.
That's awesome.
Definitely go check them out.
Oh yeah. So that's it for this one, guys. GMA 39, our 1 year anniversary. Love to see it. I'm gonna be streaming probably right after this. We'll take a little break and then I'm gonna hop back on, do some boomkin tanking if you guys want to tune in for that. We're gonna be doing Dungeon ZF and all that type of stuff. So it's gonna be good.
Killing it, brother.
And
I think it's amazing how you are playing those kind of off-spec tanks. I
Yeah.
really like it.
I think it's awesome.
really
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
It's a good
Oh,
time.
yeah.
It's a good
Uh,
time.
love
Leveling
you
up
guys.
real fast too.
Loving up real fast. Oh yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much for your time and hanging out and putting up with our nonsense for another week. We'll see you next week, guys. Have a good one.
Love yous.
Signing out.